family feud over the father's burial and what have you. Now, Kojo, that's Ajosafo is in the news again, and Ajosafo Akofina cannot stop my father's burial. Okay, so I'm supposing. So this is what Ajosafo is saying, that Akofina cannot stop the father's burial. I mean, their father's burial. Yesterday, we do know that the court actually placed an injunction on any attempts to bury him for 10 or so days, I think. So that story is found on the front page of the Supreme newspaper this morning and continues on page 3 of the newspaper. Dr. John Kingsley Krugu, government must fast track Act 112 for reforms as media review shows gaps in environmental governance. Okay. Biography of Odenehu Apostle Emeritus Professor Engineer Kwejo Safo Kantanka. That's a long one. Okay, so that'll be an interesting read. So you want to get a copy of the Supreme newspaper this morning, check out page 4 and you get the details of that story in there. Let's check out what the portals have also reported this morning, starting off with My Joy Online, and it comes with a picture of that's definitely an exam hall. It says 2026 BEC results released, over 3,600 absent as thousands await final verdicts. Okay, that story is on the homepage of My Joy Online this morning. 2,722 BEC results under investigation as WAEC cracks down on exam malpractice. 601 BC candidates lose results after WAEC confirms exam malpractice. Financial inclusion not the same as financial empowerment for women, and that's according to Sheila Minkapremo. And the delegate system, excess democracy comes with its own issues. And Mustafa Gbandi there speaking, and mobile money transactions hit 492.9 billion Ghana cedis in June, and quite a lot of stories. If you check out My Joy Online this morning, you get a number of them to read this morning. Okay, let me take you straight to what the High Street Journal has also reported or captured on their website this morning. The delegates cocoa season era Yamutu, who wins the new business of Ghana's politics. That's an interesting headline, if you should ask me. Okay, and credit to the private sector in Ghana has indeed improved. That is not the full story. Okay, Trotro Kalabuli worsens as Medina Dodowa passengers battle illegal fare hikes. It's not just Medina Dodowa. It's widespread. It's actually widespread. And sometimes when you join some of these Trotsky's and you listen to the banter between who we call the mates, the drivers, and then the passengers, you just can't but, you just nod your head and ask yourself, Ghana, so to when? That's an interesting one. If you check out the High Street Journal this morning, let me say good morning going out to you, my brother Nimama, doing the listening this morning. And credit to the private sector. Okay, so this already has been done, has been captured. I've told you about it. And government confidence. Ghana's inflation won't exceed target band of 6 and 10, even if Middle East conflict escalates. Okay, so you want to check out the highstreetjournal.com this morning for some interesting stories that they've covered there. Okay, so let's look at what City Newsroom is also reporting this morning and get you informed on the big stories that are found on the page, the homepage of citynewsroom.com this morning. Quite a number of stories I've actually cut through. If you should ask me, the WAEC story is there and what have you. Now, it says that education must produce innovators, not certificates holders. That's according to the African Union High Representative for Silencing the Guns, Mohammed Ibn Chambas, there. Bekwai residents give Chinese query firm 1 week ultimatum over blasting environmental concerns. 2026 BEC WAEC cancels 601 results, withholding 167 as 2,722 more face scrutiny. This morning we would try and raise the officials from WAEC and hopefully speak to John Kapi, the PRO, on some of these developments that we are hearing as far as the BEC is concerned, because quite a disturbing realities there. So it is important that we engage them and also speak to some of the education think tanks on what they make of the development, and perhaps broaden the conversation further to understand what governments can actually do in terms terms of ensuring that we do not, witness some of these excesses as far as exams are concerned. This is BEC, not WASI, not any of those, so to speak, advanced examination. This is BEC. Okay. Direct primaries could strengthen democracy if properly implemented, and that's according to APC's Hassan Ayariga. Gary Nimaku questions funding for court-ordered direct primaries. Those are some of the big stories on the homepage of citynewsroom.com. 3news.com, Education Minister declares zero tolerance for indiscipline in school, and I support this 100%. And we should make sure that we crack the whip, especially with regards to how some of these students are on the rampage and misbehaving. I saw a video, I think it's from the Ashanti region thereabouts, where students ostensibly, I think there was some inter-colleges activity there, and then when students of a certain school were pelting stones at a vehicle belonging to another school. That has been with us for years. Yes, I mean, someone would say that, when we go for the inter-colleges competition and what have you, sometimes some of these things happen. But, there are spillovers. So it is important that we check some of these things. And how some of these students are abusing and assaulting teachers on campuses. It leaves much to be desired. So if the Education Ministry is going on this tangent, I support it 100%. Speaker Bagbin calls for stronger Parliament, academia, civil society partnership on economic governance. Stakeholders call for collective action to address growing indiscipline in schools. Effective school leadership is critical to improving the quality of education. That's according to Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajimai. And Health Ministry temporarily shuts down Teaching Krobo Nursing Training College due to student unrest. Those are some of the stories on 3news.com. Checking out what the biggest online news portal in Ghana is also reporting this morning. And Energy Ministry warns against rushed power restoration after grid code disturbances. And this morning I realized quite a number of places or areas do not have their light on. When I was coming to work, my area had lights, but before I could say Jack, it went off again. But at this point, you could understand that Gridco and the power producers are working assiduously to ensure that we are able to restore power back, or they are able to restore power back to its fullest capacity. So maybe let's give them that that leverage, or that freedom to do what they want to do. Because sometimes when you go on social media and you read some of the comments, people are attributing this to Dumso, people are insulting officials of Gridco, ECG, and tell you what, guys, sometimes I'm not in the field, but I think that it's not easy. So what happened? There was a statement to that effect. Gridco clarifying why there was a widespread power outage and the reason why the delays, and told us that they were working to ensure that power is restored. So let's cooperate with them in that manner. Okay, so it comes with a picture of the Energy Minister, John Jinapor there. One member, one vote Supreme Court ruling. Who is going to bear the cost? NPP questions. Comes with a picture of Gary Nimaku there. One member, one vote, and okay, Supreme Court ruling. We are in full support. Mahdi Jibril there, speaking on behalf of the NDC. Transparency International Ghana backs Supreme Court ruling on political party delegate system. And universal adult suffrage in primaries could disadvantage minority tribes. That's according to local government minister and member of parliament for Banda, Ahmed Ibrahim. Hannah Tete calls on Africa to rethink its global strategy amid changing world. It's been a while. I saw my former boss in the news, Hannah Tete. It's good to see her. Okay, so those are some of the big stories on the front page of the biggest news portal, online news portal in the country. You also want to check out some sports stories. And the sports minister says that play with courage and for Ghana. And he is actually encouraging the Black Queens, who a lot of people have said that, look, we need to give a lot of support to. And I agree, because when it comes to football, it is not just the Black Stars, but over the period, we've lent our support to the Black Stars. And it appears, or it looks like, when we're talking about football, the only thing that comes to mind is Black Stars, Black Stars, Black Stars. Yes, the support will keep giving them, even though they keep disappointing us. But the Black Queens, look, the girls are something else. Let's channel our energies to supporting them as well. If we can't find the joy that we used to find in the Black Stars, see, the Black Queens are there. Let's go there. Let's go there. NPA raises fuel price floor for August 1st pricing window. Those are some of the big stories. Check out the biggest online news portal in Ghana, classfmonline.com, for some more stories in that regard. And the very dashing Elizabeth Edu, right here, the area girl. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
You know you're an area girl. Or you don't know? Ah, but we are in the same area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
you are the area girl, and the area boys are here to join me. I don't know where they
Yes.
are. Whether the the little drops that we are having has dealt with them. Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan. He's listening by now and nodding his head in his car and saying that this guy is always mischievous. But talking about mischief, no one is mischievous than Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan. And I've said it. When you come here, please don't come at me. Elizabeth, but how was your night?
Oh, it's okay.
It doesn't look like the rains have fully left us.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm enjoying the weather currently.
You're
So
enjoying it, eh?
yeah, yeah. So for me, everything is cool. If only we are not going to experience what we did in June 29. I think the weather currently and what is happening is okay. We're just praying that it doesn't rain heavily to cause the disaster, the flooding that happened June 29. Yeah.
We just hope so. But even as we are talking about the little drops or the little showers that we are having, it is important to also drum home the fact that the gains we've made so far. Have we even made gains in terms of getting our environments and clean and what have you? Just weeks ago, the president declared that we set aside a day to
Yeah.
clean our environment, the silt, the drains, and what have you. So I would say that maybe on that score we've made some gains. How do we sustain them?
I think that initiative has already been there for since the past administration, with the every first Saturday of every month, every individual is supposed to come out and clean wherever they work, their communities and stuff. And I think with the flooding issue that happened has also made people aware, and some of other authorities also are manning up when it comes to sanitation issues and arresting people, sanctioning people concerning those things. So to me, I feel the June 29 flooding issue that happened has actually taught us a lesson, and we are learning from it. And
Elizabeth, you think people
it's
are learning from
oh
it?
yes, yes, oh
I
yes,
doubt.
oh yes.
I doubt.
Oh,
It's going to be a piece of my mind this morning.
oh
We seem
people.
we seem not to have learned anything.
Oh, we have.
Mm.
Yes, we have. Honestly,
Maybe from the community where you are.
my community, sure.
You are living. I've forgotten. You are living within the plush areas of Accra, so
No,
it's understandable.
okay, let's not
Yeah.
go there, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel people are learning from, especially the authorities in charge of these, ensuring that such measures are put in place and people go according to um, the rules and regulations that governs the country. So
So we still don't have
Ghanaians
people throwing rubbish into the
normally
drains.
Africans are kind of a bit stubborn.
So
Yeah,
it will take
and
time.
you need that kind of enforcement to
Hmm.
push people to do what sometimes to do what they are supposed to do. And so let me make the example with the FDA, EPA issue with the Tema Mahiam issue with the fishing and the community that
The fish.
the fishing issue that happened. And so now the authorities are working, and I like that. Yeah. So I think we are
Okay.
heading somewhere.
I have my own opinion, and I would share with you on a piece of my mind. This is Elizabeth's opinion. But Elizabeth, which what newspapers I should say, do you have, and what is there to know this morning?
So I have the Hawk newspaper. On the front page has the picture of Fifi Fiafi Kweti, who is the NDC General Secretary, Justin Kodua Frimpong, MPP General Secretary. Says one member, one vote this year. Supreme Court forces parties to open up internal elections. Then Opon Fosu is our man. NDC movement throws weight behind Opon Fosu for national chairman. And then it comes down worst language policy ever. Professor Dr. Adams fires warning over foreign languages at KG level. The boom or mineral boom or curse. That is a call from and a warning from Africa against repeating the mistakes of the past. It has the picture of Alexander Kofi Mensah here. Then to the Daily Democrat, nothing but the truth. Power to the people as Supreme Court ends delegate system. Then Opariado urges young Ghanaians to build skills and serve the nation. Then NITA launches 2026 National ICT Weeks targets Ghana's digital transformation. Then Samuel Ofosu Ampofo to lay father to rest on September 8. That's Saturday, August 8, 2026. Dr. Audrey Amwa demands stronger urban planning enforcement. Then to the last paper I have here is the Spider newspaper. Political parties stripped of
Class
delegate power.
91.3
Landmark
FM.
ruling scrap closed door primaries, but Parliament fears roads to the primaries. It has pictures here. And then also fix the roads or forget trade. But when Blunt's warning, it has the picture of him here. Then voters over Valco. Minority declares war over secret Mahama takeover fear. The full story is also on page 3. It has the picture of Kweku and Prechum Sapon, ranking member on lands and natural resources. Here in the funeral war, court halt Ajasa Force Kantanka funeral. The story is also on page 3. Then no delegate, no problem. NDC shoots off Supreme Court bombshell. That's the stories I have here with me.
Okay. Well, it's still the Class Morning Show right here on Class 91.3 FM. And let me just invite you to be a part of the program. The WhatsApp line is 0500,000 202. In case you just tuned in or in case it's the first time you're listening to this program, this is the Class Morning Show. And of course, it's a program that sets the tone for a national conversation. You want to be a part of it. Whatever you feel as far as the issues we've shared with you on this platform are concerned, 0500 000 is the WhatsApp line to do so. You can send in your messages, and of course, quite a number of you sending your messages ahead of time, especially with regards to more specifically those who listen to the Class Morning Show every morning from 5:50 to 10 a.m. Some of you have sent in your messages way ahead of time, so I urge you to also do the same. Anything you want us to drum right here, or if you feel strongly about the issues that we shared with you on this platform, you want to do so via the WhatsApp console one more time, 0500,000 202. And I understand at certain areas, some of you are sending us messages that at certain areas the signal seem to have gone off. Okay, this one says that motorway. Okay, right. So we've prompted the attention of the technical department, and they are already working on it. So definitely we'll be back on air shortly. Thank you so very much. And Elizabeth, there was a story you read about forcing foreign languages at basic level. I don't know. I'm really interested in that story. Maybe let's start with what you have there, and then we can get into the details of that story.
Okay, so that story is on page 3 actually of the Hawk newspaper. Sorry. So, worst language policy ever. Professor fires warning over foreign languages at KG level. So, a Ghanaian linguistic and professor of linguistics and African literature at the university, professor of Australia, Professor
Class
Adams
91.3
has
FM.
launched a scanty attack on the government's proposed language policy for basic schools, describing it as one of the worst language education policy he has encountered. Professor Adams criticized plans by the Ministry of Education to introduce French, Arabics, and Chinese from the kindergarten level, arguing that the policy risks undermining Ghanaian languages and reflects what he described as a neo-colonial approach to education. The revised, so the post was made on Facebook. He wrote it on Facebook. He says the revised basic curriculum introduced by the Ministry of Education is aimed at equipping learners with skills for a rapidly changing global environment, including coding, artificial intelligence, and expanded language learning. However, the inclusion of foreign languages at the early childhood level has sparked debate among the educationists, linguists, and members of the public over whether the move is practical and whether it could weaken efforts to promote indigenous languages. The professor argues that the global best practices show that children should first build literacy.
You want to clear the truth. Take your time to clear it.
In their mother tongues before being introduced to additional languages. He says, and I quote his words, in most parts of the world, people concentrate on teaching their children homegrown languages at lower levels of education and then gradually move to foreign languages. He says the renowned scholar questioned why Ghanaian children should be introduced to multiple foreign languages at the earliest stage of learning when local languages remain underdeveloped by in the education system. He proposed that children should first learn their mother tongue and other Ghanaian or African language before gradually being introduced to foreign languages as optional subjects. He also says that whose research career spans more than 4 years. Okay, they are giving background to his
Okay,
career life.
that's his credentials.
Yeah, so he said under his proposed approach, children would first gain fluency in their mother tongue, learn another Ghanaian or African language, and later study for foreign languages based on interests and needs. He accused political leaders of ignoring long-standing argument in favor of strengthening African languages in education. He called for a review of the policy, describing it as disconnected from Ghana's cultural linguistic realities. The Ministry of Education has also defended the curriculum reform, saying they are designed to produce globally competitive learners while improving fundamental skills. However, the ministry is yet to directly respond to professors' specific concerns about the proposed introduction of foreign languages at kindergarten level.
And here's my take on it, Elizabeth. The professor has eloquently, espoused his position on this issue. I told you to bring up that story because just some weeks ago I was on phone with my brother Umar Sanda. Good morning to you of City, and I was speaking to my kids in English, and Sanda was like, "See, Charles, I don't like the fact that you speak to them in the English language. Why don't you speak the local language with them?" Okay, and this is what some friends have also told me, that it is important you speak the local language with your kids in the house, because when they go to school, they speak in the foreign language, so to speak, English, with their colleagues there. So they speak it there, and then when they come home, you speak the local language with them. And I thought that there's wisdom in what my friends have told me. And I agree very much to a large extent with what the professor has said this morning, that over the period, we tend to have relegated the local languages to the background. We don't give them prominence or importance. So I think that if he's raising this concern, it's very important that government takes a look at it. However, if government says that it is introducing Chinese, French, and is it Arabic?
We are already doing French, and Arabic too is already being done in schools.
Yes, I mean, as to how widespread that is, I don't know, but some schools are doing them, especially French, Arabic, with regards
For
to.
all government schools that I know, French is being taught, and the Arabic is optional. I think when you get to GHS, that is when you choose between Arabic and then the Akan language that you be learning. That's of Ghana. That was what we were doing. I went to a government school, so that
So do you
was
speak?
what me. No, I didn't go to Ghana class. I went to the Asante Tree. Yeah.
So you speak
we were
you speak
learning
you speak the
Asante
Asante tree very well.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, yeah.
so here's my thing with what the position held by the prof on this very subject matter. I think that if government says that it is introducing Arabic, French, Chinese from the basic level, fine, it's all well and good. However, we just have to prioritize, the local languages. That for me should be the difference. That we prioritize the local languages. It shouldn't be as though we are prioritizing a certain foreign language over our languages here in the country. And I think that at that stage in life, it becomes easy for these kids to actually learn the language. Tell you what, I grew up in a community that was mixed. So I learned a bit of Ewe, Akan. Okay, the English is there. We speak them. So in all, I speak about 9 languages in Ghana. I mean, and anywhere I go in Ghana, I find people that I can communicate to easily. Because you find some people from certain tribes whose language you're able to speak and communicate with them. So at that stage in life, it was easy for me to actually imbibe a thing or two from the various tribes in terms of the languages that they speak. So I think that at that stage, it is important that we start from there. However, it is about the priorities. Which language are we prioritizing at the basic level? The prof's position is very, very, it's all well and good. What he's talking about Of course, that's the observation I've made all this while. That's when you go to schools, the medium of instruction is English and all of that. You don't find anybody teaching the local language to say that, unless, of course, you are going to do Akan, for instance, and then you speak the Akan language. I recall when I was in senior secondary school, my elective maths teacher, Michael Oseado, he entered class one day and was like, Charlie, you know what? We've been doing e-maths in the English language, and a lot of you don't seem to understand it. Today, I want us to do it in Chi. And the way a lot of us were shouting, and when he did it in Chi, and he did an immediate test for us, a lot of people passed it. A lot of people passed it. It is not to say that let's push the foreign languages to the background. Yes, we can do them. But I think that we need to prioritize, we need to give priority to our local languages so that growing up, we can learn and learn them very well. Look, I grew up in this community. Sometimes when I speak the Akan language, the Twi language, I'm an Ekuapim. But sometimes when I speak the Ekuapim Twi, my people laugh at me. They are like, what are you saying? My wife is a Bono, and she speaks a very good Twi, so to speak. So sometimes I recall those days when I used to report for, some of these local radio stations. When I'm reporting on air, then she'll call me. After everything, she'll call me. Then she'll be like, Chiven and avocado. It is because growing up, my parents used to speak English with us in the house. My parents were doing English and Italian. So somewhat, when you speak Italian, I'm able to respond. You get it? And so those were the languages that I grew up with. But the Akan language is not there for me. But on a personal basis, if on a one-on-one basis, I stand with you and I communicate with you, I'm able to communicate very well. And then you may think that, oh, this person speaks Twi very well. But that's the point. So if the prof is making this point, it is a very important one. However, if we are saying that we want to introduce these languages to these kids, it is good. It's all well and good. It's well intentioned. But I think let's prioritize the local languages over these foreign languages so that right from the basics, the kids grow up with the local language. And when they get to a certain stage in life, they can express themselves very well. I did that mistake, or I made that mistake. My kids pretty much are speaking English all the time. Now my small boy has developed a certain habit of rather coming at me all the time to speak, Twi. So he mentions or he pronounces certain words in the local language and then we laugh. He pronounces it as though, oh yeah, oh you Bruni, and then we laugh. What are you saying? But you see, better late than never. So I concur. I agree with the position by the prof this morning. I don't know where you stand though.
Me.
I'll see. Where do you stand on it?
Me, anything that would will be beneficial to the children.
What do you think would be beneficial to them?
That's what I was saying. My school, the school that I attended, it was the government school. The French language is not optional. It's compulsory for everybody to learn the French language. When you go to Togo, Cote d'Ivoire,
we are surrounded by francophone countries.
So I don't have any problem with that. But with the Arabic,
the fact that it's compulsory,
I don't have any problem.
That's
with
a foreign language.
Yeah.
Why don't we make the Akan language or the Gan language or the Dagbani and all of that? Why don't we make those ones compulsory rather?
We are surrounded by countries that speak French. So if that is compulsory for everybody to learn how to speak it, I don't have any problem with that. When it comes, because we don't have one language that we say is going to be an official language for the country, the Arabic, the Twi, Asante Twi, and Ga, depending where you are, it's optional. You get it? So when it gets to the time of you depart if you want to go to Ga class, if you want to go to the Twi class, if you want to go to the Arabic class, you decide where you want to go and then join the class and learn the local language that you want to learn, because it's not everybody that will be interested in learning Twi. It's not everybody that will be interested in learning the Gan language. You get it? So if that is optional for people to choose from, I don't have a problem. That's what I'm saying. Anything that will help and be beneficial to the people, I'm for it. Yeah.
Anything that will be beneficial to the people, she says she's for it. Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan. Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, morning.
I'm sure you were listening to me.
Oh yes. All your
You were,
shenanigans
you
that
were,
you
you
were
were,
doing.
you were criticizing me
That
in
me
your
are
head.
mischievous and all that.
Ah,
I
you
mean,
see,
what's
I
the
said it.
point?
He said, you see, he's come back to say it. I've
I mean,
never been
I
mischievous.
speak to the fact on
I've
the
never
table.
been mischievous.
And so,
When we talk about mischief,
yes, but we think that technical people should help. I mean,
yeah,
we're not getting
the signal, yeah.
the feed. It's important that because a lot of our ardent listeners were sending messages here and there, so they should check it for us so that we keep them.
Technical
Yes.
tells me they are working on it actually. Hopefully,
But it's
we should be
important.
back soon.
I mean, the discussion you have is important that you have a second language to whatever we officially have. And the minister has stated that the official language for this country is English. Apart from the local languages that we have, and they have intentions of beginning the introduction of the local dialect usage to impact knowledge. I think at the basic level also.
Yeah, starting from KG.
KG. So I think that is a good one. I don't know the rationale behind the introduction of Chinese. I don't know. I, at a point in time, was learning the language. In fact, I enrolled to study Chinese language. So I have some fundamentals of it.
Ni hao.
Oh, yes. Ni hao.
That's all we all do.
Yeah.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
And in Germany, you have been to Germany.
Oh, danke.
Hey, Duncan.
Oh, danke.
I'll say that.
What does that mean?
Thank you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
See. Gracias. Okay.
So it's important that I do not know, but I don't know the rationale behind the introduction of Chinese into the basic. Is it? They said we start from the basic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I really do not know. Maybe we want to speak to officials of the ministry to let us understand. So what is it that the French has been taken off, or French is also there?
French is part.
It's featuring.
Yeah.
Hey,
But we're
Obutante.
already learning French in schools. Even in the university, I did French. In level 100, you learn French, compulsory.
Yeah, so what's the
Yes,
reason? The learning of the French, I was asking, what's the reason for me learning French? The heading.
Oh, it depends. It depends because
You
I
are surrounded by a francophone country.
So what?
and I have.
Do they learn English in their country
No,
as
they
their
don't.
as their primary?
They do.
They do. They do.
Tree is learned in the US of A. Tree language. They have a university a course on it that is teaching tree.
No,
So
he
if
said-
they are
he
learning
said
our
that-
language,
No,
I
he
mean,
said that, but
The
US
francophone
speaks
countries
English. US speaks English.
And they are learning
so yes, and we are learning English here. So there's
yeah, and
nothing
we are
wrong.
learning French
No,
because
the
they
English
also
is our
they
official
also
language. So yeah.
They also what?
oh when you go to Togo for instance they are playing our music all over so definitely
Playing the
No,
music is
so
different from
if
learning
you
the
are not pushing your language, for other countries to learn,
and I think it's I mean the French for instance is very beneficial because I did French I mean from
How
primary
beneficial is
to
that?
university. I have a friend, okay. This friend, I mean, I virtually learned nothing in school, just the French. And I can tell you what, I mean, when I went to Germany, for instance, he's working at a very, 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 very good place. Very, very good place.
Because
Because
he
when you,
speaks French.
because when you learn the French, it's easier to learn the German language.
But the French,
Okay, so here's my
the
take.
French that we learn here.
Where does
do,
it take us?
Do you?
It's because you
Because
didn't
guys
learn
don't
to
take
speak it.
Yeah, you don't take it
You
seriously.
didn't learn to speak it. Like myself, I learned to read it. I didn't learn to speak it. So I know
But who has
the
completed?
So-
Who has done French at the basic level, at the JHS level, and whatever level, and is speaking French as though
Do you know-
he or she has gone to Alliance
yeah,
Française.
yeah. I'm
I
telling
do.
you, my friend speaks French. Like, if I don't tell you that this guy learned it in Ghana here, you might think that the guy.
No, I'm not saying that they learn in Ghana here. I'm saying that Alliance Française trains people
Yeah.
to speak French eloquently
in other languages.
and other languages. I am saying that
How many of the friends?
No, I get.
how do you learn this French at the basic level,
getting your
JSS and
drift.
all that,
That's
and
what-
tell
I'm
me
getting
that
your
you speak French
I'm getting your drift.
fluently and eloquently
Yes,
like
so-
that
Why
student who went to
So guys, listen.
Alliance Française.
Yes,
But you know,
guys,
no,
listen.
that's the same way you start
Yeah, why
learning
not?
English from the basic
Exactly.
level to
Guys, listen.
graduate
No,
to
haven't you met a kid?
Let's be real.
Haven't
Let's
you
be
met
real.
a kid
Let's
who
be real.
speaks English fluently? That the one who is even in the university cannot speak like the
Chances
kid.
are that the parent nene can
You understand? So here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I understand, Doc.
I was privileged to be surrounded by people who were interested in the French language. Apart from those who learned it from Ghana here, I had a friend who came from. I mean, he's also a Ghanaian, but he was staying in one of the francophone countries abroad, and then he came over to our school. Okay, so he even made us very, interested in the French, because always he's speaking the French and all that, and the way he was very, fluent and happy about it. So we were interested. The unfortunate thing is, I did my best to speak it, but I could only read it and do the comment to taper. You see,
those and that ends it. So listen, guys. Here's what you see. So here's what Doc was saying, and I've also been asking myself the same question. So we've been doing French all this while, but how many of us are able to speak French? Listen carefully before you jump in. How many of us are able to speak French fluently, as it should? You've been introduced to French. I recall when we were in GIG, Monsieur. We used to call him Monsieur. I recall what he taught me. Is it myself? Je m'appelle Charles Akrofi.
Yeah.
As at that time I was 23 years. Yeah. I said Jean 23 instead of 23. Yeah. And then they were laughing at me and all of that, and I left it there. I left it there. So after school, if you don't go and do some advanced courses, to say that if you are not deliberate about it, to say that I want to better myself at speaking this language, it ends there. Yeah. So the question Doc is asking is very important. That look, the introduction of these courses, it should be one that when you are done or at a certain level, you should be able to speak it up to. You should move from a beginner to an intermediate. You get it? It shouldn't just be a one-off thing, because pretty much that's what our curriculum has been. You only learn it briefly, and then it ends there. You don't really use it, because tell you what, there are a lot of companies, and I get the point you made early on. There are a lot of companies that demand that you are fluent in French before they can employ you.
Yes.
I understand that, because these are multinational companies, and they have branches in other countries spread across the world. So, for instance, if you are working with a company that is also operating in a francophone country, and you would be sent there someday, it is incumbent on you to learn the language to a certain extent. So when you go there, you can communicate easily with the people. However, I'm saying that the education curriculum that we have, or as we've known it all this while, it says that yes, we are doing French, but how many of us really are able to speak the French very well?
With you. That's the part I disagree.
Let me hear you.
Because I'm not even speaking because maybe I've seen it on TV or something. This, a friend of mine, were in the same class. Okay, we did the same, courses or subjects, but he took particular interest in French.
He took particular interest.
I'm coming.
He took particular interest.
I'm coming. By the time we completed JSS together, this guy was speaking French like he has stayed in the francophone countries. In fact, we around him were a bit jealous. We were even teasing him at that time, at the time, but we didn't know that this thing will even take him far. Because you see, I have a friend who is married to, a woman who is a multilingual person. So she's translating, she's traveling all over the world. If you want to know how to speak this French fluently, you will.
Yeah.
If you want to, that's the point. You see, if you want to.
It's a language. You cannot say that beginners, intermediate, and all that. It's a language. If somebody can learn it perfectly well, no, it's doable.
I understand.
Yes,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying no. You don't get it. You've set your own questions and answers. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm not saying. Okay, I come from a family. I said earlier on that growing up, my parents used to speak English and Italian. Okay, so I speak Italian somewhat. You get it. And assuming Italian is a language, or was a language that we're speaking, or was introduced into education curriculum, then it means that I'm able to imbibe something from the school. I come back home, my parents are speaking it, I become perfect at it. Like, was it Elizabeth who said that someone's parents spoke at home or something like that? You get it? So it helps you in that regard. But here we are in a situation where Mesue teaches you something, and it's just, for instance, level 100. It ends there. Je m'appelle so and so. That myself thing, that thing that was wrote on the board for us by Mesue, and we read it. After that, nothing happens if you don't listen. I'm talking about why did we stop? Were we the ones who stopped it? We were not the ones who stopped it.
What you're getting wrong here?
Tell me.
For instance, I did French from primary. In fact, my parents were on me to even master the language. At the time, I wasn't very serious with it. I did French from primary to GIJ, which should be university.
You should be perfect by now. And you
when
don't speak French.
Listen,
You
when
see?
when I got to GIJ,
Doc,
when I go,
French from basic to
wait,
university.
listen. When I got to GIJ, okay, when I got to GIJ, we had the beginners class and then we had the advanced class.
Which was
I chose to go to the beginners class not because
there was
not
nothing.
because I
No,
couldn't-
Abiel,
couldn't
there
go
was
to the
nothing
advanced-
like beginners and advanced.
There was.
What was the
There
difference?
there
Tell me
was.
about it.
The advanced class was for those who had, previously learned the French and they wanted to top up.
Yeah. Even
The beginners was
was
for those who were starting in the Yemapel and all these things.
we did-
I chose the
What we did
the
at
beginners
GIJ
class.
was-
You chose the beginners class.
It's not true.
Because
I
you
was
want
in the
to
same
take
class
Yes,
with you.
that's what I'm saying.
I was in the
chose
same class
beginners-
with you.
I could have gone to the advanced class.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I chose the beginners class because it was part of our examination. And though it
If you
was
don't-
optional, we still had to write
Yeah.
exams. And I knew that if I do my Yemapel, I will pass.
Yeah.
Than going to the advanced class and going to learn some elective French. That's why I chose the beginners. And after, I think we did it for just the first semester.
Yeah,
That's
first-
all.
After the first semester, we chose.
But-
Not that we couldn't continue. We chose to stop the French.
No, it's not true. It's not true.
It
And
was
for
optional. It was
anyone,
optional in school. It
and
was not
for
compulsory. We
and for
chose.
My school
anyone,
was
no, it
compulsory.
wasn't. It
It
wasn't.
was optional.
It wasn't.
At the
It
time,
wasn't.
should I pull out
After
our
I'm
transcript
saying
for you?
I'm saying that
No, let me pull
I'm
out
saying that
transcript.
no,
It's on
no.
my phone.
I'm saying that
It
I'm
was
saying that
optional.
I'm
French
saying
was
that
optional at the
I'm
time.
saying that after level 100 that was it. It wasn't introduced
But
again.
it was
We
optional.
didn't stop.
We stopped.
We the students didn't stop.
No,
it
we
was
stopped.
it was not
We
captured.
stopped.
Anyway, guys,
We
we're
stopped.
speaking
It
to the
was optional.
realities.
We chose
We-
to stop it. We
we-
chose not to.
Yeah.
Move ahead
Yeah.
with it.
You what powers do you have as a student
But
to
it was
determine
optional.
what
The
you
subject
learn?
was optional. They made it is on your transcript.
This
Should I
morning,
pull your transcript for
this morning, I would take up this issue with Eddie Micah, who tells me that he's been listening to us on the Class Morning Show. Eddie Micah now of DWTV. We'll bring up this issue. You know that we have a platform. We'll bring up the issue and I'll point the
It
issue
was
to you.
optional. We all know that
I had
the
to make a
French
choir.
at GND at our time, it was not compulsory. Nobody was forcing anybody to attend the French class.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
What you did is-
Elizabeth, what more do we have? I don't know. And Doc has been silent. He's just nodding his head because he
I
knows
mean, I've
that.
said,
The truth is that
we
after
do
that,
enough-
we don't do anything.
We do enough at the basic level, at the what do you call secondary level, tertiary level, to warrant eloquent speaking of French in this country.
One thing that we are losing sight of is that the French teachers also made French very scary.
Scary, they'll beat you.
Oh, really?
Those French teachers, the way they know how to cane,
Ha!
the way all the French teachers, it's like they go for training
God.
on that. So they made it very scary. They didn't make it. Very lively that you want to study the language and all that. So all of us, we actually wanted to opt out.
So for me,
But so
If-
Doc, did you learn French from the basic school?
yeah. French, I remember I had one.
Oh,
me
so
too.
you were shocked like that.
I wrote
Me
my
too.
BC.
You
I had
should be
one.
fluent by
But
now.
I was learning to write my because there was
That's all.
You see, you were learning to pass
No,
the
the
Yes.
point is, he's raising
raising
a very important, point.
because when the French
So-
teacher comes to class, he is speaking English.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Charles is also. I was in the same class with you. French, I had an A at GIT.
Me, I don't remember.
This year, I will show it to you.
Me, I don't remember.
If I want to even show it to
I
the
don't even
cameras,
remember
I'll show it
if
to
I
you.
wrote it or not.
We were all in the same
You
class.
understand me? So, I mean,
We
for
studied
me,
to pass. That is it.
those who speak the language fluently that I know of, as far as I am concerned and I know of, they went to better it
Exactly.
at the
They were
Alliance
deliberate.
Française
They were
It's
deliberate
false.
or
at
some
it.
other
It's false.
professional
Are you
courses.
telling me,
of,
Amiya? Are you telling me?
or some
my
other
guy didn't
professional
go to that.
schools
That is
that
the
My
truth.
guy didn't go
teach.
to Alliance Française.
But how did he learn it? Your dad's era is
In
different.
in
No,
fact-
my guy. I'm
in
talking
fact,
about my friend.
He needs to call his friend for him to
Yes,
speak
he's
English
calling
now.
no,
Doc,
French
I have
French
no
now.
problem with that.
He's
Listen,
called
listen to me.
I can
Listen to
call
me.
him from
Listen,
Germany right now if
listen
you
to me.
answer.
Listen to me. I have no problem with that. He was deliberate about learning
Yes.
the language.
That
I-
is all.
I-
Learn the
education-
language where?
No, you listen to
Oh,
me.
not then.
At
You
the
listen to
basic
me.
level.
You listen to me. I'm advancing there. Good. You see, you guys are not getting the point we are making. The point we are making is that you are deliberate about learning it. School at the basic level says that this is what we are introducing. So it is just like an introduction to. It is not to make you perfect.
Yeah.
You get a point. And so if you really want to get perfect at it, it is about you being deliberate about, for instance, going online and taking up courses.
Exactly.
So we are talking about what relates to the school system here in Ghana. And we are
Yes,
making the
yes,
point
we
that
take French.
yes, we are making the point that after the Jesuits, Je m'appelle, it ends there. It doesn't equip you to fully become good at speaking the language. That's the point we are making. We are not saying it's not doable. It's very doable for you to perfect speaking French in the country. I have friends, even in parliament, some of my press corps members, they speak fluent French. But you get the point I'm making.
Yeah.
The point is that our education system does not make for equipping you with the requisite skills to speak fluently. After first semester, GIG, it ended. That's
Yes.
all. That's
Yes.
the point I'm making.
Yes.
Are you home now?
No.
Are you home and dry? You are not home.
Well,
Let me hear you, Elizabeth. Let me hear you.
See, whenever you want to become somebody great in the future, the basic level from primary to JHS, even before you get to the university, you know what you want to become. You know the subject you're supposed to take to go further in your education to become whoever you want to be. So the curriculum introduces you to all this
Introduces. I like
courses
that.
from primary. Now they said they're going to start from KG. So let's say from KG to JHS to the secondary school and to the university you decide to attend. That's for JIJ. It's compulsory for the first semester. You have to learn French to pass, to be added to your GPA. You get it. So from after that, if you want to continue from there to make French your other strong language, to use it for whatever you want to use it, that is where you move from there. So if government, that introduction of French is already there. Now they want to add Chinese. So I don't know if for the Akan languages, the Ghanaian language that we have, when it gets to the time for to study that, they break into sessions, into classes. If you want to study Ga, if you want to study whatever Ghanaian language you want to study, you go to that same class. So introducing the French, my question is, are they going to put it
Introducing the Chinese
introducing the Chinese, is it going to also be an optional option between French and Chinese, that when it gets to that section of that class, you would either want to go to the Chinese class or the French class, or it's going to be compulsory for every individual to learn both the French and the Chinese? Because learning the French alone is a whole course altogether. And when you're done learning the French, if you want to take it as if you want to make something out of it, if you want to take it serious, from primary to JHS, you know your stance. But for Ghanaians such as myself, we learn it to pass the exams, because if you don't pass, it's going to reflect in your results, and you're also going to be affected by the end of the day. So we don't take it serious. That doesn't mean the introduction of the French is not working.
No,
it is
no,
working.
that's not. You've pretty much said what I've said. This is what Elizabeth said. Elizabeth said that. Elizabeth said that, and she used the word introduction. And then I said introduction. I like it. So at the school, or as far as our school system is concerned, listen, you are introduced to it. And then she went on to say that if you want to learn it further, that is when you are. That's the point I made. That's the point I made.
What you are missing here is that the French that we learned at the primary level wasn't the same French we learned in JSS.
Yeah.
It was a top-up.
Yeah.
The French that we learned at JSS, when we get to SS, it is a top-up.
So more like you are advancing.
You are advancing.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the university, that's why I'm saying at our time, it was beginners and advanced.
Yeah.
So you choose where you, because the beginners, they were assuming that some people will come without the French, knowledge about the French language. So you go to beginners. But if you have the knowledge,
there's a message, an
class.
interesting word.
So we chose to go to the beginners, even though we had already studied French, but we wanted to just pass the exam. So I chose to be in the beginners class. Now, at every stage, there is an upgrade for you. No language in totality. In no language can you learn in school in totality.
Yeah.
Okay,
Even
so now you've agreed. Simple. That ends it. You've agreed with us. You are agreeing with us.
Let me land.
Okay.
Even with the tree that we study in schools, it is not in totality.
Yeah.
But ask yourself, how can somebody learn tree, which is in parts, and still come out and speak fluent tree?
It's about you being deliberate in doing
Exactly.
learning, it looks like guys, you are not getting the point we are making.
Now in JSS you were taught Yemapel.
Yeah.
In SS maybe you add nous avons to it.
Yeah.
You have upgraded. So when language is about conjoining words and putting them together and speaking it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I know Yemapel and I say Komatu Tapel, the next move is maybe Uvien 2. Do you understand? That is how you move.
And
That is how you
your
progress.
friends are
Okay,
will not
so
even
so
allow you to
so
even
so
learn
you
the
are still
language.
you are still dancing around the issue. You are still dancing
Nobody's
around the
dancing
issue.
around the
I
issue.
am saying we'll move on to some other issues, but
Yes.
Doc,
What do
maybe
you
But you
want?
wanted to read the
What do you
message.
want
You
for
wanted to read
Yes,
the
we
let
message.
me
need.
see. Let me see. Okay, anyway,
Yes,
so
we
let me
need.
just read this message. You said something. Someone agrees with you. The person says, "Okay, so good morning, Charles. I've been listening to your conversation. Yes, it is true that the French teachers in our schools like caning because of
They
the
scared
colonial.
us.
Okay, the person says because of the colonial policy." Of assimilation that forced their colony to learn the language to qualify as a citizen of France. McDowell from Alajo sent that message. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Anyway, we
Yeah,
have our own opinions. What do you
scare, they
think?
scare some of us. The
Yeah,
beating.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you sleep on, you put your head on the table, and then
if
your
you get
back.
a word wrong, the way they'll cane you.
And they are very good at caning. Hey.
Have you noticed something about the French misways?
Uh,
A lot of them, a lot.
are short.
That's my experience. That's my experience. That's my experience. A lot of them are Irish.
Oh yeah,
Airways. Okay. Okay. For me, I
true.
thought they are Togolese or something.
So their connection
Yeah.
with Togo,
Yeah.
I'm sure, because pretty much a Mesue that I've seen, even the Mesue at my kids' schools, they are all
And
Irish.
if you've also noticed, a lot of them are very short.
Charlie, this table you are shaking, dog.
Oh yes, the Supreme newspaper this morning. I don't know. Ajwa Safo is here.
You and this your address are coughing at
You
it.
see,
No,
I am
no,
concerned about this. You want to talk? Oh, you want to say something? Oh no, Lizzie, I want to know.
Yeah, so before you come to the Ajasafu issue,
Okay.
I want us to do the Supreme Court's ruling
On the
yesterday
political parties.
on the political
That's
parties.
one
if
major
you
issue that
agree.
we are dealing with this morning.
Oh, okay. I mean, me, I don't have a problem. Let's go.
But we will still come back to this.
With regards to the delegate system.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah. So one member, one vote is here. Supreme Court forces parties to open up internal elections. So Ghana's political parties have spent years debating it, delaying it, and also struggling with the political consequences of embracing it. Now the Supreme Court has stepped in. In the landmark of 5-2 decision, the Apex Court has ordered political parties to allow all registered members to participate in internal elections, effectively pushing the countries closer to the long discussed principle of one member, one vote. The ruling has ignited debate over the future of parties' democracy, with critics arguing that the judiciary has done what Ghana's two biggest political parties, that's the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, has hesitated to do themselves. For years, both parties have toyed with expanding participation in their internal elections, but have stopped short of fully opening the ballot box to every registered member. Supporters of wide participation argues that the era of intimidated electoral college where a small number of delegates decide the fate of party candidates has created room for influence, money politics, and elite control. They say opening the elections to the entire membership base will reduce what many describe as monocracy and also give ordinary party members a stronger voice. The MPP has already taken steps towards expanding its electoral college structure. The party has also opened up its delegate system to include a wider range of party actors, including former constitutional and regional and national executives, as well as former government appointees. So it goes on and on and on. So they believe that the discussion and the decision would weaken the influence of wealthy individuals and powerful factions who often dominate delegate-based contests. However, opponents of the fully open system have previously raised concerns about the logistics, cost, security, and the possibility of external interference in parties' processes. The Supreme Court's decision has therefore opened a new
Class
political chapter.
91.3
What the
FM.
party debated for years, the court has now compelled them to confront. For many grassroots party members who have long demanded a greater say, the message is clear. The era of few deciding for the many may become may be coming to an end. One member, one vote has arrived. So that is from the Hope newspaper on yesterday's ruling from the Supreme Court.
Okay.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I should say it is.
Yes, and the Supreme Court gave
A 1 year.
a 1 year,
Yeah.
what do you call?
Implementation period, so to
Yeah.
speak.
So we'll see how it goes. But by which time, most of these political parties would have elected their flag bearers and done all their internal primaries.
But you know, NDC will be holding their presidential and parliamentary elections next year.
Yes,
So it also depends on the month they
Exactly.
decide to hold it.
exactly. So if somebody is minded, the person can strategize in such a way that because seriously, a lot of them do not. I mean, have problems with it. Yesterday, I was listening to some key people in both the
Yeah.
NPP and the NDC, and they didn't seem to be very excited about it because of the financial burden that this particular ruling would bring onto the budget. Some make the point that if the state is ready to fund the political parties, yes, the implementation of some of these things, directives from the superior courts would make a lot of impact. Other than that, it is going to be a serious problem. Not to say they want to disrespect the orders of the court, but it will definitely bring a lot of issues into the political space. But so we'll see how it goes, Charles.
It's one big issue on our tables this morning, and later on when the communicators join us, we'll delve into it. Because while it's some people, and you see, it appears it's not accepted or disagreed to by the various political parties.
No.
There are persons even within the various political parties. So, for instance, if somebody, maybe Asomesi, within a political party says he agrees, there's one within that political party that says that no, I don't agree. So this is one issue that is.
I feel yesterday I listened to some of the members of parliament, and their concerns are in the right direction because.
What are they saying?
Because at the end of the day, we are looking at this policy that's the passage from the Supreme Court is supposed to look at the monetization of these elections to maybe reduce it and stuff. But some of the members of parliament are making the case that the monetization or the vote buying doesn't start from or doesn't happen only when the election is happening. It starts from it begins when people
somebody has declared his bid
yes.
to contest for a certain position.
When you are even a sitting member of parliament, you see the people coming to you asking you for money to pay school fees and stuff. And the moment you don't give that person the money, the statement the person is going to make, or you don't attend whatever funeral, whatever wedding, or whatever invitation the person is giving to you, the next statement the person is going to make is to vote against you. So if what you're looking at is this going to curb or actually be able to take off this monetization of this when it comes to elections, is that issue going to be solved with this new policy that the Supreme Court has ordered these parties to follow? That is what they are also looking at. And the bit of the state funding their elections, I'm totally not in support of that. For me, you decide to hold your election.
That's what the new ruling says.
No. That's what some of
that the state should fund political activities.
Yes.
So, for instance, how is that feasible? So, for instance, NDC is in power, and then all political parties are doing something. Okay. When we say the state should fund it, what does it mean? That the NDC government should fund all political parties
to organize the elections, because now the delegate system had 500 people voting, it's going to the number is going to increase.
Certainly.
So if it increases, then there's going to be a cost that they're going to bear.
Definitely.
And if they want to cancel this monetization and monography thing that is going on in the country, that is what allegedly this thing is supposed to solve. So if
it makes sense that For instance, if we are having a certain primary, you are dealing with the delegates. You are dealing with a fraction out of the total population in terms of the number of registered people in good standing with the various political parties. So the assumption is that political parties or persons who are vying for certain positions can buy these people, quote unquote, they can buy these people with money because they are larger in size. But when it is on a big or on a large basis, it becomes difficult because it means that if you are dealing with millions of people, you can't buy the integrity of everybody with money. All these millions of people. So it means it will be difficult for you to actually engage yourself in vote buying. But the point, yes, it does go on. It does go on. So the point is that you made a very important point that
always find a way to take money from these politicians.
Definitely, it's something that starts right from the word go when people actually declare their intention to actually vie for certain positions. It's there.
It is not for me. I don't see it as I don't see this particular decision by the Supreme Court as the way or the intention to curb the monocracy. No, maybe yes, it could reduce it in a way, but strategically, I mean, every election has its own dynamics, and every politician would want to strategize before going into any election. So if he looks at the strategy and juxtaposes with what he believes in and goes for it. I mean, if the numbers are huge and he can do what they call, some of them call targeting and all that. If there are about 1,000 delegates or 1,000 people to vote in a particular constituency, and yes, of course, he knows that he cannot pay everybody the 1,000. Even with this, the current situation, even with the current situation, how many politicians go about sharing money or sharing goodies to all delegates in a particular constituency during the election? No, they don't do that. So they do the analysis and look at those people they think that they can influence, and then go there strongly and do what they have to do and then beat you to the game if you are also sleeping as an opponent. So it is good that at least everybody is allowed to have an opinion on who would want to lead that political party. But I don't know how feasible that is going to be in the coming years. That politics is still going to be part of our body engagement as a people, and so we'll see how it goes. I mean,
I'm open to receiving some education on whether or not, because yesterday the Supreme Court says what? It's unconstitutional.
Yes.
Which means that what we've been practicing all this while, the Constitution doesn't support it. I'm open to receiving some education in that regard.
Yes, that's what it means. It means that you've been engaged in illegality for all this while.
Yeah. So it's just upholding the tenet of the Constitution, what the Constitution has said.
Yes.
So if we want to have anything changed at all, it means that we have to go back to the Constitution and review it. Is that not the case?
That aspect that has to deal with the fundamental the fundamental rights of every citizen of this country in taking decision as to who leads who.
Okay.
So that was what the people who went to court were seeking to more or less have explanation to.
Okay.
That the Constitution says I should be able to exercise my franchise at every point in time and choosing a leader. How is it that when I'm choosing a flag bearer,
it's limited to a few?
It's limited to a few. So that's what and interestingly, you have about, it was what, 5-2?
5-2, yes.
So if anybody disagrees, the person can go for what they call review, and they will increase the numbers to 9 for them to now sit on it. You understand? To see if the decision their own decision, earlier decision can be overturned.
Oh, I see.
So we'll see, but I mean, I hear a lot of school of thought from the both those camps, the NDC and the MPP, making very, very, very fundamental reasoning out of some of these things. Because you see, when you open up the system to, chances are that people will infiltrate. Now, if you are saying that your argument is that people will infiltrate, so for example, the NDC can, and it is politics they are doing, both parties and all political parties. So if I am seeing a candidate who is probably weak, and I want to influence you people to elect the person into office for me to be able to make my political journey or whatever assessment easier, then I'll just infiltrate with people. People can come and say I'm MPP. What will be the yardstick in detecting whether the person is a true MPP or not?
I think
true
we
have your card.
Registered members.
You registered
Yes,
members.
yes, so I am coming to register as an MPP person.
Okay.
What shows that, yes, I am indeed an MPP person? What will be that roadmap to determining who an MPP person is or who an NDC person is? And that's the fear of, especially for the main political parties in this country now, that people may infiltrate. Even with the delegate system, there are several allegations that when you go to some regions and some constituencies, people infiltrate both camps. You remember in Ashanti region and in Volta region, and these are two because of their nature and the way they vote. You go to Ashanti region prior to the 2024, in fact the 2016 election,
2016, okay.
As part of the investigations that the NDC, after losing that election, some of the reflections that came, and as we know, was that you go to some constituencies in the Ashanti region, NDC is supposed, branch executives are supposed to be 9, but they will vote in a particular branch, when the ballot, after the ballots are poured for sorting and counting, you will realize that if not for anything at all, then 9 executives in that branch should have voted for their party. Is it not the case? But they will pour the ballot papers, and then a particular police station, somebody can get 0. So the question is, who were those 9 executives for the party in that particular polling station?
Either they were compromised or they were not NDC.
Exactly. The same in the Volta region as well, and some other places. You get the point. So these are reasons why yesterday I heard most of the pundits and most of the political actors in some of these political parties worried about the the ruling of the Supreme Court. So we'll see how it goes.
But anyway, it's a genuine concern because, like he rightly said, I mean, I've been listening and I've been following what the conversations regarding this particular ruling. Of course, I mean, the positive aspect of it is that now everybody gets the chance to vote, and it will also, I mean, deter or let's say prevent vote buying. So if there's 1 million people voting, how can you pay all the 1 million people to vote for you? Which is true. But I mean, those who also hold the view that there can be infiltration, I mean, it's also something that we must also check because, you know, I don't want to make it a Ghana thing, but it's probably a human thing. Once there is a new idea or there's something, people want to also find a way to, you know, I mean, adulterate it in some way. I don't know if you get a point. They want to make it impure, so they will find a way to, you know, actually see how the loopholes can be. I mean, can be utilized in their favor. So this 1 million thing or this, I mean, particular ruling, it is not that it's starting. So, you know, I mean, people, eyes will be on it. Everybody wants to be very particular about what is going on and all that. But as time goes on and we have, you know, actually progressed and it's years, I mean, year upon year, then they will now be finding ways to, you know, actually compromise the system. So it is something that we all have to, you know, look at. So those who are, you know, of the opinion that there could be infiltration, there could. Definitely, like you rightly said, registered members. Okay, so now if I come as, I mean, I think recently MPP opened up that people can come and register. Yeah. So I go.
I mean, both I mean, political parties.
Exactly.
The NDC, DDS, NPP, and then the other political.
So
parties.
as someone who is, a sympathizer or someone who wants to be part of the party. I go, I register my name, but in my head, I am NDC.
NDC. Oh, I'm NDC.
So I'm there to, actually, and it can happen. They can pay, a lot of people to just sabotage the system. It is human nature. So maybe then the responsibility also lie on the parties to now also find a way to make it very hard for people to do these things. They should find a way to maybe new members or those who will be those who will register as new members probably should not be voting at a point in time. Then we assess you over time to know that you are indeed committed to us. If not, this thing.
No, but you see, the parties themselves have a system. Before you become a party member, there's a process you need to go through.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yes. So if they can go back into activating some of this roadmap in ensuring that they get the right kind of people and the genuine ones to be part of their parties, that is fine. At least I know that. I'm familiar with the MPP, the NDC, what systems you have to go through. You have to be, if you say you are from one MPP and you want to join NDC,
if you want to
cross carpet, you have to bring a resignation letter. You have to have openly declared that you are no longer the MP with the MPP, and all sorts of things that you need to do before you are accepted. And even when you are accepted, for example, if you come to the branch level, you need to be regular at meetings for a specific number of months. And all that before.
We are talking about politicians. So the person can go through all the process.
Anyway,
bringing your issue because the funeral is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming off.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of the court's injunction. Why?
So from here, I'll go there.
No. Brief me. What happened? I thought there was an injunction from the court.
Yes. The court
10 days.
10 days. Injunctions, interlocutory injunctions will last.
So what happened?
days.
Should we talk?
They are not hiding it, or someone has gone to overturn it.
No. Nobody has overturned it. The court says the injunction has been granted by Akofna. And the lawyer for Akofna filed it yesterday, and the court granted it, which is to suggest that everything that is supposed to be done has to be withheld.
Yeah.
So yesterday, in fact, after the ruling, then people went there to find out what was happening. I personally called some friends around Winneba and all those areas to find out what was actually happening. And they told me that, they are bringing trailers of items, chairs, whatever, canopies and all those things that will be needed for the preparation of the grounds. And even as last night, they were still working.
Yeah.
Fixing stuff, and today beautiful, my brother. Go and see the grounds.
They're almost done.
Wouldn't that have implications?
Oh yes.
What possibly?
I don't
possible
know.
implication could there?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, don't ask me. I don't.
You were a lawyer in the making. You should be able to tell
I don't know.
Flouting an injunction by
I
the
don't
courts.
know. I don't know. I'm not a judge.
Look at that.
I want to deal with you.
Giving me the spokesperson. I'm not the spokesperson for them, but like I said,
people have started crying.
They started crying.
And
good news.
Buses, Charles, VIP buses. It's crazy.
They are crying. Yeah, they are mourning. Yes. It's very sad. It's good news. Yeah.
And I'm told there's this huge museum that has been erected.
Nice.
Actually,
it's beautiful.
Where the man will be laid.
Beautiful. Everything is on point. I like it. It's very beautiful. You see, I said I stand on the side of wisdom. Not on anybody's side, but on the side of wisdom.
That
when there was going to be an installation ceremony of Akofina, Adjusaf when the people went for court injunction, and according to them, they served them That's why they couldn't do it at their original place,
They
and
had
they
to
now
move to-
moved it to the private place. So Akofina disobeyed the court. True or false?
Yes.
And what did the court do?
Court did not do nothing.
Okay, so you see, there's
So,
precedent.
so I'm coming.
Okay.
And yesterday, Akofina also said, okay, let me go to court and get an injunction. So according to the lawyer for the church, something Kantanka,
Yeah.
when Akofina disobeyed, what the reason he gave was that they didn't hear, they didn't get anything. Adjustafo also didn't hear. Adjustafo didn't get nothing.
Up to now.
Yes, they didn't hear. They don't know what is going on. In fact, their phones are off.
No, wait, Doc, help me.
Nobody has called them.
If a court injuncts something, are you to be served, or
I
you
don't know,
must
I
just
don't
hear
understand
it?
No, how are you supposed to hear it? It has to be served. on
Okay,
you.
so it means they have not received it. And
So they
nobody
were not
has said
served.
that. Yeah,
Once you were
nobody-
not served, you were not served.
You were not
But
served.
you are sitting here and saying they were not served. How do you know that they were
no,
not served?
I've not said they were not served. I'm saying
Because
that's why I
it's
asked.
ongoing.
That's
You
why I
are
asked.
assuming they were not served.
No. I have no locus in this issue. No, at
But-
all. I'm just saying that. So I asked the question: would you have to be served
And you
the
said yes.
injunction notice before anything?
Yes.
And you said it. I'm deducing from what he said that
Yeah.
Adwa
said-
Sefo
I'm on
said
the
they've
same
not
page
heard.
with you.
No,
They've
I'm
not
not,
heard
I'm
anything.
not, I'm not
Yes.
saying Adjustafo said it.
Okay, they said
saying,
they-
I'm saying that I stand on the side of.
No, I
logic.
get it. You,
And I'm saying that when
I'm
Akofina-
seeking an education
Yeah,
here.
yeah, and
I'm
I'm-
seeking an education that once someone says, "Well, there's an injunction," I've not heard it. That's why I asked the question: would you have to be served first, or you just once the court has given the directive,
I
or
remember-
ruling,
I remember
you should
there was-
comply?
there was-
And you said you have to be served.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get the point. You have to be served. So in this case, if in case Adwa Safo and Co are not served, would they be right to flout the orders of the court?
I don't know about that.
Okay, so there is no interpretation yet. But what I'm saying is, the first injunction went to Akofina.
I understand that you are erring on the side of caution. I
The first
understand.
injunction went to Akofina. And
Okay,
he
guys,
disobeyed.
let's do this briefly.
The second injunction has gone to Adjustafo. And perhaps Adjustafo's reason is they have not been served or she doesn't know.
She's not spoken.
I'm saying perhaps.
But she's not spoken.
Perhaps. Now let us give let me just ask, I'm not a member of the family. I'm just a sympathizer of the man. I love the man.
And I like
want
the fact
to attend.
that you talk about this issue with a lot of passion.
Yes, because I love the man.
Yeah,
I want to
because
attend
the
the
man
funeral.
has
So,
achieved a lot for
Everybody
them.
and anybody that wants to go to the funeral today, you have not been served. That is to the people, not to Adjustafo. I'm talking about those who are attending. Yes. Have they served the people who are attending?
No.
So they can go, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so please, we are going.
Guys, let me give you a surprise. Let me give you a surprise. A surprise. That's this guy, Caesar, yeah?
Yeah.
How does it spell his Caesar?
I think it's CZ.
I think, yeah, okay, so let's see. He had, quite a number of songs.
Yeah, Charlie.
That
But
shook the days,
yeah, Charlie.
Caesar.
Lizzie, you need to be copying some of these tracks. So, I think, Lizzie, we need to give you some. This was music, and this is music. The ones you are listening to today are songs. So know the difference. Yeah.
Okay, so Caesar. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a number of them. Which one strikes you? So there's Araba Lawson. That one there.
Araba
That one is
Araba Lawson,
that one
yeah.
was. So you want that one?
Yeah, yeah, Araba
Okay,
Lawson.
let's take you back into time. Caesar. those days. Or rhymes, yes, a kid of rhymes. Okay, so I wonder how many of you remember this song. I wonder. Let's see. The baggy jeans.
And you do some crip walk.
Allah.
Charlie, those were the days,
And
man.
then there came some dance called chicken. You remember?
Chicken.
Chicken.
So we had Harlem Shake, we had
Harlem
crip,
Shake.
crip Walk, we had chicken, we had crack or break dance.
Yeah.
Those days. You see, they are laughing. The Gen Zs are laughing. Iraja is there laughing.
I want
and
Jerry.
she doesn't
Ah,
understand.
chicken, what's on his head?
Chicken. Hey!
If you look at me, I will fly like a butterfly. But guys, those days were some good days. Yeah,
Charlie.
there were some good days. But let me thank you so very much, Elizabeth Edu, and of course, Dr. Desmond, Kofi Annan, and Amiya Edu Jemfi, my colleagues right here with us at Class 91.3 FM. It's still the Class Morning Show on Class FM. My name is Charles Akrofi, and of course, I urge you to send in your thoughts, your comments, contributions via the WhatsApp console 0500,000 202. Alternatively, you can do that via Facebook, page Class 913 FM. You can drop them there. Definitely today I'll go there and read some of your messages because I get quite a number of you sending messages that you send messages on Facebook. And we don't read them, but today we'll actually go there and then read the messages that you post there on those platforms. And so the show is very much interactive. 0500,000 202. Send in your comments, your contributions, and what have you. And in case you have someone celebrating the birthday, it is important that you celebrate the person in a grand style. We want to do that with you right here on the Class Morning Show. Let me say a special good morning to you, my mom, my beautiful mommy, doing the listening inside the Ghana Shippers Authority ship house, Madam Sylvia Asana. Oh, and all the wonderful, beautiful people at the Ghana Shippers Authority. Good morning going out to you this morning. It's not the Class Morning Show. Let me take a break here. When I come back pretty shortly, there's going to be a piece of my mind, which is, of course, a segment on the show where I share my thoughts on an issue and also give you the opportunity to call in and then you also share your thoughts. This is the Class Morning Show. Okay. Sometimes technology actually, gets stucky sometimes. So Technica would have to come and watch this for me. But definitely, it's about time, for me to bring you a piece of my mind. And I'm going to be sharing my sense with regards to, the cleanup exercise that the president actually urged us all to engage ourselves in. And of course, it does look like the rain is nowhere gone yet. this morning. I'm just going to be talking about two very important issues briefly, then I can give you the opportunity. And then you also call and then share your perspective with regards to the issues that I've talked about this morning. And it's got to do with our sanitation as a people. And of course, you remember that with regards to what happened just months ago or weeks ago, as far as the flooding situation in the capital and part of the country is concerned, the president had a cause to actually call us, to a national duty, that we all engage in some national activities to clean our surroundings and what have you. Weeks down the line, how successful have we been as a people? Let me just play you this song briefly. Let me play you this song to set the tone for a piece of my mind this morning. The rains are not gone. At least, if situations that we are experiencing or we are witnessing in quite recent times is anything to go by, it tells us that the rains can still come in thick and fast. It can come in heavy magnitude that we even expect. So the past 2 or so days, we've seen some showers here and there. And perhaps you are thinking that, oh, the rains are gone. We are just, seeing some showers and it wouldn't be anything compared to what we witnessed weeks ago. But the good books talks about making hay while the sun shines, putting your stuff together to ensure that the day when the disaster or the catastrophe happens, you don't find yourself wanting. So weeks ago, the president called us to duty to ensure that we clean our surroundings so that we don't find ourselves wanting in these times. When there is flooding, we make sure that our gutters are unclogged or desilted and what have you, so that there's a free flow of water. We don't find water floods our communities and what have you. But I'm just asking the question this morning that how do we sustain the gains? There have been the directive by the Greater Accra Regional Minister to the various MMDAs to ensure that they continue in this regard. Situations or periodic, cleanups within our communities is very important. How have we been able to monitor or measure progress so far as the cleanup exercise that we did is concerned? This morning, briefly, I'm just here to tell you that, look, the signs that we are witnessing now should tell you one thing, that the rain can come in at any time. We're talking about climate change. The climate is changed. It isn't the usual June, July rains that you used to have. Someone was telling me yesterday, I think Amia was telling me yesterday that, Charles, did you notice that the rain started as early as February thereabout, January, February thereabout? The rains that we've been witnessing in recent times are not the normal ones that you used to know that, usually around June, July, the rains will come in and so let me prepare myself. No. Now the rain comes in unawares. It takes us unawares. It doesn't tell us anything. Before you realize, the rain just comes in. There was a time that we saw nothing, or personally, I saw nothing from where I was living. I saw no signs in the clouds. The clouds were not heavy. Before we could say Jack, it was already raining, and it rained cats and dogs. It rained heavily. And so you see, the point is that no one knows when the rain is going to come in heavy. No one knows when the rain is going to come in heavy. Just as no one knows when, the second coming of our Savior Jesus is going to be. And so you are urged that you should be in waiting. You should always prepare. It is the same way I want to urge you this morning, that you need to prepare. Anything can happen. The rains can come in at any time. So you see your frontage, the gutter there, it is choked. The water is not flowing, and you know it yourself. You don't have to wait for government to come and tell you to clean your gutter. You can do it by yourself, because you know what? It is about your safety. If you don't clean that gutter and it overflows or it gets full or it's unable to contain the volume of water that would come as a result of the rain someday, you find yourself wanting. You don't go back and blame government. Government has done its bit. Now I find quite a number of cleanup exercise within the capital. And I want to say kudos to those guys along so if you are from 37 going to the Accra Mall area, we have the airport first and then there's airport second. So that's from airport second towards the Polo Junction, the Polo Club Junction, the junction that goes to the Polo Club area. I find these guys, open the drains and unclogging them. And they make sure that when they are done, they carry the debris the sand or the waste that they've taken out of these gutters, they cut them to certain locations. I pray that they're able to finish it and finish it very well. I don't know what constituency that is. Someone can help me with that. But I think this is what we should be doing all the time. And I want to believe that they are under the supervision of the MMDA or something. So if the MMDA is doing that thing, kudos to the MMDA. The other MMDAs should also follow suit to ensure that we are not caught unawares, because the rains can come in at any time. That's briefly on the situation or the issue to do with our surroundings and keeping them clean. The other thing I'm going to talk about is something that you and I perhaps we've monitored on our roads, and it's got to do with vehicles emitting large balls of smoke and what have you. Sometimes you find yourself in a car and the car ahead of you is emitting smoke and you find yourself covering your nose. Yes, I'm sure a lot of us have been in that situation before. So you take out your handkerchief and then you cover your nose, because it is deadly, it is toxic for you to inhale that smoke that is coming from the vehicle ahead of you. So the question I keep asking myself is, why do we have all these vehicles on our roads? Vehicles that are 10 years, 20 years, their engines have not been changed. What they've done is to do overhauling over the period, and people are still using them, and they are emitting thick balls of smoke. And when you get to our market centers, and a lot of these market centers have taxi ranks or lorry stations even within them, they emit this smoke. And there's some eatery around the place. There's a restaurant there. There's somebody who is selling some meat pie. There's somebody who is selling some pastries. And then the smoke lands on all of these stuff. You go and buy them and then you eat. We inhale all of this. Once upon a time, there was a survey that was conducted, and it described Ghana as one of the most polluted. The countries which air is most polluted globally. So I was asking myself the question, how do we check some of these things? The vehicle is just moving. You find MTTD around, and they just move like that, and they are emitting thick black ball of smoke from the car, and it spreads, it diffuses all around the place, and no one is saying anything about anything. So I was doing a bit of digging as far as this issue is concerned. And here's the thing: Ghana's national laws broadly restrict vehicle smoke pollution, though enforcement has historically relied on general nuisance rules rather than strict mandatory tailpipe testing. Okay, so existing rules and nuisance laws. 1974 MTTU Act historically states that no vehicle or person shall emit smoke into the environment to the annoyance of passengers or the public. To the annoyance of passengers or the public. To the annoyance of passengers or the public. Okay? But you find yourself in a vehicle, and the vehicle ahead of you is emitting thick ball of smoke. It annoys you. You can't say anything about it. You can't do anything about it, because the vehicle ahead of you is in motion. And even if it stops and you approach the driver, there is nothing that you can do about it. You can't do anything. Okay? Now, general roadworthiness. While the driver and vehicle licensing authority checks vehicles, complete mandatory digital or numerical emission caps have faced gaps in routine road testing. And that's the issue. An Emissions Levy Act 2023, Act 1112, imposes a tax on carbon dioxide equivalent emissions from combustion engines to promote a greener economy. Okay, now health, environmental concerns. Air quality. Thick exhaust fumes contain harmful soot and cancer-causing agents that worsen urban air pollution. So you see, most of the time, you go to the hospital and there's a certain diagnosis that is made. And you ask yourself, how did I get this? How did I get that? Now, cancer is on the rise. Here we are, with the research that I've done, it is saying that when the air is actually polluted, that thick exhaust fumes contain harmful soot and cancer-causing agents. So you can be careful. You can be careful in terms of your lifestyle choices, the food you eat and what have you. You can be careful. But you see, when you go out there, and you can't constantly be wearing nose masks, because you need that free air to breathe. You need to breathe freely. But when you have these vehicles, and a number of them I've observed this week, I counted not less than 20 of them on the motorway. A number of them, they emit large, thick balls of smoke, and they look so black. Very black, and it diffuses and messes up the entire area, and everyone is covering their nose. The question is, who is checking what? Who is checking what? So you go to the hospital, and then there's a certain diagnosis. They are giving the bad news, and you come back home and you ask yourself, you get worried. How did I get this? We are told that it's also cancerous in nature. It's toxic and it's cancerous in nature.
Last night to 1.3
Just a few days
FM.
ago, we've been here talking about the need for the regulatory bodies in the country to be up and doing and ensuring that they are putting people, or they are ensuring that they are actually acting on their mandate. A lot of them have been sleeping. Because no one can tell me in this country that we don't have our officials drive through the streets. We don't have officials from the DVLA, for instance, drive through the street. We don't have officials from the Environmental Protection Agency drive through the street. And EPA comes in here because environmental concern is there. No one can tell me that they don't find them, or we don't see them on the street, drive the V8 and all, what have you. And then they roll up, they are in the AC, so they are not affected by the emission of the fume. No one can tell me. They drive through the streets. But of course, they've rolled up and they're enjoying the air conditions. And so what you and I would be suffering from, they are not seeing it. But the point is that we'll continue to talk about these things and insist that there should be some checks within the system to ensure that we don't have some of these vehicles just moving anyhow on our roads. You find a rickety looking vehicle. The vehicle is registered A. And I'm not saying that if it's registered A, you don't use the vehicle. But maintenance. How well have you been able to maintain it over the period? Because from A, now we are where? 2026, isn't it? So a lot of vehicles, the new ones are 2026 registered. Look at the period. How many years down the line? And the person has used the vehicle for 30, 40 years. The engine is the same old engine. What he does is that overhauling. And that is all. And if these vehicles ply our roads every now and then, you find MTTD officials there and then they ask no questions. It emits this large, thick ball of smoke, and everyone there, including the MTTD officials, they cover their nose and nothing happens. I'm asking the question, the Emission Levy Act 2023, Act 1112, what are we using that for? You see, the laws are there. It's not like the laws are not there. The laws are there. But implementation in this country has always been an issue. Implementation. But let somebody out there who is thinking about bread and butter issue, and this is not to say that it's a good thing to do, but somebody who is unable to fend for the kids, somebody goes out there and still some okra, some tomatoes, some what? The person will be taken to court and sentenced. That tells you that the laws are there. The laws are there, but it's always been an issue of implementation. So who is to implement what? You see, we as journalists, we can only come here and remind you, government, that once you have implemented or Parliament has passed certain laws, it is up to you to implement them. I have seen this attitude of we Ghanaians, that whenever the laws are passed and government fails to implement them, we feel, as a people, to even keep ourselves in check, to do things in conformity with what the law says.
1.3 FM.
The law says that when the light turns red, you should stop. And you say that, oh, well, I have just few minutes, I'm rushing to this place, so I jammed the traffic. And that one, kudos to the MTTD. They would have arrested you right now. But there's more that lives, that meets the eye, that desires or that needs the attention of city authorities to ensure that we are able to deal with these issues once and for all. Those vehicles on our roads, we shouldn't find them on our roads. Already we are saddled with the dust here and there. There was somebody who sent a message a few days ago and said that, look, government should take a critical look at the motorway construction exercise. Because, and I understand that periodically the contractors would water the surface or would water the road to ensure that, the dust that comes out from there. But they don't do that as often as you would expect it. Today, because of the showers that we had, we didn't experience the dust there. But you are driving on the motorway. If you don't roll up, your windscreens, chances are that you may get home. If you are wearing white, you'll be bathed in dust. It is as though you are coming from the village and you are coming to visit someone in the city. So you get home, then they ask you, what happened to you? Why are you all looking so dusty? We are already struggling with this. We are battling with it. The dust within our communities, because a lot of our roads are not hard. A lot of the inner roads are dusty. And so you are even in your room and then the dust gets into your room. See, you can be in your room the whole day. So wake up, say for instance today, sweep your room. In the next hour, sweep it again and see the amount of dust you will sweep from your room. That's the reality. We are dealing with this issue. We are not done with it. And then vehicles also emitting this thick smoke from their vehicles and causing us all the harm. And there's no one who seems to be checking them. Meanwhile, the laws are there. The laws are there. Sometimes when I talk about some of these things, I get angry. So if you've noticed, the past few days, I have been a bit calm in terms of my delivery with regards to a piece of my mind. Because like we say, Oh, kasa. Ye. But I'm here. And I'll keep talking. And I'll keep reminding government that government, once the laws are there, make sure you implement them. Make sure you implement them. If it is about resourcing state institutions to enforcing it on the people, government should do that. Government should do that. Because a lot of people are dying. A lot of people are getting to the hospitals and being diagnosed of certain conditions that they've never heard of. And my wife will tell you that sometimes you listen to the names of some of these conditions and they have beautiful names, but they are dangerous. Cancer is on the rise. Cancer is on the rise. You find someone from the hospital with a freshly delivered baby wrapped in that beautiful white cloth. And yet, in that same Trotsky or in that same Trotro, and there's this vehicle ahead which is emitting smoke. And that little one who is fresh in the world is inhaling this.
1.3 FM.
The next time he or she is having breathing conditions or complications, you go to the hospital, you are diagnosed of some sleep apnea, some what, respiratory what, and cardiac what. That perhaps is one of the reasons why we are having people die of this cardiac arrest and what have you. I mean, I'm not a medical person, but I'm just here and I'm thinking aloud. No, it's serious. It's serious. It is about time the regulatory bodies in the country be up and doing. DVLA, the EPA, MTTD, and what have you, the Roads and Transport Ministry, and all the relevant agencies, stakeholders, get on board. Clamp down on some of these vehicles. No, we shouldn't find them on our roads. They are killing us. They are killing people on a daily basis. These vehicles that are emitting this thick smoke are killing people on a daily basis. People are contracting cancer when really they don't know how they got them. People are getting a lot of conditions when really they don't know how they got them. Please, let's be up and doing. And let's stop this lip service we are paying. It is not helping us. It is not helping us. It is not helping us at all. And on that note, I rest my submission on a piece of my mind and to call you or urge you to call in now and also share your sense, your little sense as regards the issue I've shared with you this morning. 0302208080. 0302208080 as the phone lines, and of course you do know that this is the line we've been using all this while. So 0302208080. This is a piece of my mind here on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi. Your name and where you calling from, please?
My name is Seth. I'm calling from Ajekojo.
Seth, let's go. Let me hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Charles, as the topic is plenty, I will group it in 3 dimensions. Concerning about Supreme Court, concerning about Metropolitan Assembly, and then the emission. Let me talk of the Supreme Court ruling. You see, when we need more education, people are not educating. That is why when the Supreme Court come and make a statement, people rush and be happy. When they go to implementation of it, they know that, it is not anything. You see, when they say delegate, I understand it clearly. It's a branch executive who they make a delegation to vote on behalf of the branch. That is a delegate system. Now, as they are opening it, they can tell you that if you have bear the MPP membership or NDC membership, the Supreme Court have sentenced you. It is in our constitution in that dimension. I will leave that one because time is not there. Let me come
Class
to the
1.3 FM.
aspect. You know, when we are talking of the health emission, we have a standard, we have an agency. They are mandatory to regulate this, but they are not doing, but they are paying them salary. Those are the problem. MC, they give them to control sanitation department on that thing. They don't have a committee to be there. Every day they make a budget for all those things there, but they live there. Every day they invest it and give account. And then sometimes it comes to public account committee, and then before they realize a lot of things. But the work on the reality, it is not going there. Those implementations, we have to stand firmly and fight against all these things. I'm pleading for the media houses to help us to fight those things. I'll wait for the others to continue.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Set 0302208080. 0302208080. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Come again.
Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Yima, calling from Amomole.
Yima Amomole, let me hear you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Quickly, about the Supreme Court issue, I agree with them. I'm a delegate, but I'm looking at the fairness of it, my brother. Here's the case when one wins an election or one comes in as an parliamentary candidate. Each and every one within the constituency goes to vote. So, for instance, let me say, if whoever wins on the ND side or MPP side or whoever, it is the whole members within the constituency who voted for that person. So why is it that when it comes to internal election, that is choosing a parliamentary candidate, is being limited to a certain group of people? So I agree with the Supreme Court that it should be the decision is fair. So everyone, it should be widened up. So if you can go in for Bank of Ghana's whole money and then come and World Bank money and then come and share it for the whole delegate, it's your own cup of tea. And then let me move on to the emission. My main focal point is on the unnecessary noise. My brother, if you are following a certain trend, these Okada operators and then individuals who own their own motorbikes, they move from the original function of the exhaust pipe. So the moment they accelerate, my brother, unnecessary noise, they go into the various garages or the wayside fitting shops and then take away the original exhaust pipe. So the moment they accelerate, my brother, unnecessary noise. And some of them ride at the noses of the police, these police officers. With this unnecessary noise I'm talking about, this thing has continued for so long. And we don't know who is it the police or the DVLA? Who is checking them? My brother, this has become a daily norm activities. Everyone on a motorbike, most of them will go in for what I'm talking about.
Okay. Oh, I think I lost him. Oh, he was making a very important point. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Charles. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, this is Charles.
Yes.
Please, my name is Haja Alima.
Oh, Haja.
Freedom fighter. Yeah.
Haja, how have you been?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good to hear. Let me hear you on the issues we've shared this morning.
Thank you. My brother, you see about this delegate thing that we are talking about. You know that somebody is not happy about it too. If only to work, why not? We'll be happy about it. For instance, me like this, I'll be contesting for election. And I'm going to campaign based on my ability to do the job I want them to send me to do. I don't have money. I don't have money when I'm going to elections. Last time when I went to elections for woman organizer in my constituency, Medina, they didn't vote for me because I don't have money. I can't share cloth. I can't share rubber pants. I can't do those things. And I've been frank to them. I told them, I don't have money, but I have the ability to work with you women and make sure that you will be seen as hardworking people in the grassroots bracket. They didn't listen to me. They voted because of money. And even today, if I'm going to election again, I'm going based on my ability. I don't have the money to share. But you know what? This thing that they are talking about to cancel the delegate system, it can work in Africa, in Ghana. It can work. My brother, there are certain laws, even if you put it there. As we are saying, these sama things that we are talking about, they didn't cancel it at the assemblies, but they are not working. They are not working unless we enforce the law to bring it back, to make sure that people will pay for their still worship. People will pay for the debt that they do in their areas. Then it will scare them. But you see this thing, it won't work because even when we go and vote 275 people and send them to parliament, over there they are like delegates. They decide for the whole country too. They decide for their constituents. The constituency, so one constituency is more than the people in the parliament. You understand? But they go there, they pass laws that will come to govern us. So that.
Okay, Haja, your point has been well articulated, and it's sad sometimes that, if you don't have money, you don't win elections. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Brother Charles.
Yes, boss. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Yima, who you lost on the line.
Oh, Yima. Okay.
Yeah.
Briefly, so others can come in.
Yeah, okay, quickly. So I'm
Class
asking,
91.3
is those
FM.
what I'm talking about? Those is it not part of the environmental degradation laws in terms of smoke? There, those emissions coming out of those what do you call it?
The vehicles
What?
and then the motorbikes that
Yes,
we have.
worn-out vehicles and all those vehicles. Is those unnecessary noise coming from those motorbikes and Okada? Is it not part of the EPA laws?
Okay.
See, my last point. I
Right.
was in a vehicle with one nursing mother. The baby was asleep. But the moment one of these jungle motors, I described to you, the moment that motor passed by us, the baby just woke up from her sleep. My brother, I'm not exaggerating. So if the baby has lost a life out of that, who caused it? So
Okay.
please, authorities, we beg you. Ghana is becoming lawless. I know my own party, this government, NDC, is doing it big. But please, the law enforcement should sit up.
Right. Thank you,
Thank you
Ima.
very much.
Thank you very much. 0302208080. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Charles. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. Okay, so this is
It's me. Follow who no road.
Eben. Eben, my brother. Good morning. Good to hear
Follow
from
who
you.
no road. No,
Right.
Okay. I greet him this morning. And also, let me salute the 5-2 decision by the able Supreme Court justices. They've done well, and I think it can be done. The NDC have done it before. If you could remember, in 2015, 2016, the NDC opened it for all registered members. And for me, I'm happy about one thing. They said those in good standing members. It means that those who pay dues and those who comply with the rules of the game. People find it difficult to even pay dues. People are saying that no, then if the Supreme Court has come out with that verdict, then what? No taxpayers' money is going to fund anyone's association. We didn't ask anybody to come out with a political party. Did you, Charles, ask anybody to form a political party? Charles. Hello, Charles.
I'm here. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Did you ask any political party to fund to form a group called political parties? You didn't.
They came up. They came up on their own volition.
Yes. So I don't think your taxpayer money to be used to fund. Is that not it? So we are pleading. We pay dues. This is the time Supreme Court has given all parties 1 year to come out with a clear roadmap. So I think it can be implemented because we in the NDC have.
Okay. So I urge you to call whenever you call, just be brief so that others can also call and contribute. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Bocho. Uncle,
Uncle Ato.
Uncle Pakwis.
Uncle Pakwis, yes. Uncle Pakwis. Kwame is on leave, but he would resume soon. I know you miss him. He'll come soon.
All right. Charles, in NDC, I am to them a Supreme Court can. NDC, yet to Yaba or polling station executive. I don't know what to happen. Now, election Yabako this year, next month was September. NDC, I am to say, Obiala, it was a baby. You would do today. When the Yama the now queen pepe. The Supreme Court is the bay. And this is for the when you are so the Biara. Maybe Pierre the Nako, why in the pepe. Oh, I carry bearing member. It should dues. You what Nancy was the NDC membership card. Oh, Biara will be own about Waba. It's a crime. It's a shame as the political parties in Binuma, you wanted that to them Supreme Court can. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Pakwisi. So it's 0302208080. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Well, how are we?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. This is Al-Hassan Sise from Zenu Central.
Al-Hassan Sise, it's been a while.
Yeah, I did around.
Talk to me.
That's bothering me, so that's why I don't text more.
Oh, I see. But we hope for the best.
Yeah, thank you. What I would say is that the ruling is good. For me, it's good for those MPs who think that when they vote for them, Accra is their city and they remain in their city, in Accra. Development, they don't carry go. The individuals who toil for them to get those seats too, they refuse to pay their costs. Are you getting my point? So for this ruling, it's a burden to them. But the political party members is a good one. Everybody will have the opportunity to choose who is to lead him or her at the grassroots. So what I would say is that it's a good call because the party has done it before, and I hope that this will wake them up because Ghana will work and work again. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. You say Ghana would work and work again. What have you got to say? 0302208080. Hello, good morning. Okay. I saw the Class Morning Show right here on Class 91.3 FM. I have shared a piece of my mind with regards to the issues that I shared with you. Okay, I understand we have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Kwabna from Tema.
Kwabna from Tema. Let me hear you.
Yes, I'm asking, are you talking about the emission laws or you are talking about the age of the car? Because from what I know, the laws needs to be obeyed all right. But if the car is all right, you get this old cars that the emission is very low. We have levels of emissions. When emission is low and is certified and it stays within the limit, it's all right to use the car. And you have some of these cars you are talking about, these new cars, that emit a lot of smoke. So which one are you talking about?
So we're just talking about the fact that some vehicles on our roads these days are emitting a lot. So even if the vehicle is old and the emission is well within, the standard, so to speak, I understand. And if it is new and the emission is not, in between what the standard should be, we should take them off. The laws are there to be implemented, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly so. So your statement should cover all vehicles. Not only vehicles that the numbers are A, because you tend to be stressing on that.
Okay, then I'm sure you didn't get my point. I'm saying I was making the point that if, for instance, the vehicle was registered A and the person has used it over a number of years, and the engine has, in terms of its strength, it's gone down and what have you, and it's emitting a lot of fumes. That was the point I was making. So if it's emitting a lot of fumes, it is important that we check it. So I made a point that it is not really about the number of years. It is about how strong or otherwise the engine is.
Yeah, for that I agree with you. But you seem to be stressing on old cars. That's
okay.
why I'm calling your attention.
Right then.
Because as much as I agree that old cars emit a lot, the new cars also, you can get a car that is 2026 emitting more than even a car that is 8. So if that is what you meant, then that's it.
Okay, thank you so very much, and I appreciate. And maybe we can pick a few more. We can pick like some 2 more calls, and then we bring the segment to a close. Okay, so I lost this one. 0302208080 is the line. If you're able to call, if you're able to sneak through with a call, we'll listen to you. And then, I don't know what is happening to the lines. I lost this one too. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
Hi, your name and where you calling from?
Babs.
Babs. Yes, Babs. Let me hear you.
I'm under the weather, seriously.
Oh, so sorry to hear.
Last year, I was following MPP delegate conference.
Oh, Babs. Hello. Oh, I lost Babs there. Babs, maybe you may want to call again. Call again and let's see. 0302208080. 0302208080. Maybe the last 2 calls, and then we can bring this segment to a close. Do we have a caller online? Okay, right. I saw the Class Morning Show on Class 91.3 FM. We talked about a number of things, and I find that, a number of you are interested in the development from the Supreme Court with regards to the delegate system, which the Supreme Court has ruled or has actually, so to speak, ruled against, saying it's unconstitutional. And so everybody who is a registered member, and of course, a member in good standing with the various political parties, should be given the opportunity to participate in every election, with regards to the various political parties in the country. What do you make of this development? It is big on our menu this morning, 0500,202. Pretty shortly, I'm going to be joined in the studios by the various communicators from the various political parties, and we'll delve into the issues and then understand their position with regards to the development from courts. Okay, I understand I have to pick this last call, then maybe we can move on. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yeah?
Hi, good morning.
Yeah?
Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yeah, yeah, Dave. Yeah,
Dave, let me hear you.
yeah. Yeah. You see, those that are saying car that is that bad, smoke at them back. That's what we are saying. There is law against those things. See, and we did this country where the laboratory them say peace. Even they check them, they close them noise making. See, where government law that even peacemakers are in the country, we like peace more than everybody. Human being. But adult worshippers came out and say, now adults say they don't like noise. Eh? Even the church people say they declare them as a noise makers, where they close them. But what about if government give laws at the law? Who have to maintain the laws? Where are they? Where are they? Because that cars where you are complaining, mean to me, one last some pass at my skin, and some woman, the woman covering nose, she said, I said, what? See, this thing are passing town. It's the town boy. We've made the capital like ruffians, them living. Hey, we don't know the history of the capital, that's why. If you know the history of the capital, that nobody has to be in the capital without working for government with unnecessary human capital, my brother.
Okay.
The country we are.
Dave, thank you. Thank you very much. And at this point, that would end the calling segment with regards to a piece of my mind this morning. My name is Charles Akrofi, and you're listening to the Class Morning Show. I'm going to be back very shortly to read your messages. But if in case you just tuned in, it's the Class Morning Show on Class 91.3 FM. Let me take a breather here. And when I come back, we'll do your message. This morning we are expecting spokesperson for the Interior Ministry, Kwame Anthony Julius, to join us in studios. It's already, past the 8:30 mark, which of course you do know that by this time we should have started the conversation already with regards to the big issues that we are having in studios. And so Anthony Julius, Kwame, we are expecting you. We're also expecting Dr. Stephen Isaka from the NDC. We're expecting Ohiniba Kwame Danso from the MPP to join us in studio. Okay. Okay. Right. So I understand the MPP rep says he can make it this morning. Sometimes some of these things actually disrupt production flow if you understand them. I mean, when we speak to you and you agree that you come and then in the middle of programming, you call that you can come and all of that, it disrupts, production flow. But this morning, I've still been joined in studios by my colleagues from the Class FM group. Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan is right here. Amir Edu Jimfi is also here. We started with the conversation already. And I see a lot of people are actually interested in commenting on the delegate system thing. Okay, let me just do some of the messages. We'll come back and then have the discussion with regards to the delegate system, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and then the Attorney General and all of those issues. But a number of messages. This one says, good morning, Class of my listeners. Charles, lots have been said. Others should prevail around assemblies over the proliferation of kiosks. Prohibitive rents have given people the idea to let me build my own shop. It's an eyesore around the country. Cars and motorbikes numbers have increased tremendously because everyone feel let me create a job. This has led to excessive numbers of vehicles, and see the worth of these cars and motorbikes in the rural areas where the bikes are a solution into the hinterland because of the bad roads. There's no discipline in the areas or by the users, you see, and their casualties number are high. All these stem from desperation. Living is difficult. Another is not worsening. Okay, I don't quite get that one, but you said serious measures are needed to regulate our way of living in Ghana. Idrisul Hassan with that message. I agree with you, Idrisul. Those against the Supreme Court ruling are the very people who benefited from the cash sharing. The MPs wouldn't be happy, as well as party executives and even current delegates, because their cocoa season would come to an end. Eddie from Medina with that message. Hi, Charles. Why is the energy minister not sitting up with eagle eyes at Gridco and ECG? The opposition elements are still in there tampering with the switching and IT system to cause doomsday as they filled with fire outbreak and hanged it on the neck of government to make politics now and into the 2028 general elections. NDC leadership should sit up and put their guys around to watch those saboteurs or the sabotage persons, else things will go against them. Francis with a message from Accra. Good morning, Mr. Charles. I am Bismarck from Adenta. Please, I am an online driver and we are suffering from a high commission charge from these companies we are working with, Uber, Bolt, and Yango, you say. Please help save us from this stress, Mr. Charles. As the fuel prices have gone up like this, we are in a total disaster because you work and earn around 400 Ghana cedis and you have to pay around 1,200 Ghana cedis plus just to these companies, and you would have to buy fuel and service these cars by yourself with the remainder or the remaining little funds. Please help. We are working, but we can't even save. Thank you. I think that maybe we should try and engage the relevant authorities, Transport Ministry, DVLA. We'll think about it and then make this a very big issue next week, Monday, or sometime within the week, so that we get the relevant people here to talk to the issues. Because timing, day in and day out, I keep getting a lot of messages from these folks telling us that they are suffering. They pay 30% to the ride-hailing apps and what have you, and it leaves them with nothing. You have about 3 kids, you have about 4 kids, plus a wife, plus an aging mother, plus kid brothers, kid sisters here and there, and this is your mainstay. This is something that you make your main money out of to be able to fend for the family, and to think that you are paying 30% to them. And mind you, most of them took these cars on what? Work and pay basis. And so if they are going to pay or they are going to service the payment of these vehicles, it leaves them nothing to go home with. So you move out from the house in the morning and then you come back with some 100 cedis, 200 Ghana cedis, and that is it. And it is expected that, once a job if you need he will take care of everything. There are no excuses. This is what we go through all the time. So we'll make it a topical issue next week. I think that we need to get people to talk to it. Okay. You said greetings, Charles, and the class team. I'm glad you mentioned the issue with smoke pollution by certain vehicles. I blame the MTTD and allied bodies who are only interested in okay, bribery, education, or non-correctional cautions. Okay, institutions mandated to check these situations are rather busy demanding, something from the drivers. And you say you have 99.9% or you have 99.9 solution to this if the government is concerned. Dumevi inside Achimota, you go on to say that again, the distortion of motor exhaust pipe and the blasting noise it makes, we are gradually fooling with impunity. And I'm terribly astonished as to why a normal human being would choose to make useless noise around with common sense reasoning. Please, let the rules work for Christ's sake. Dumevi with that message from Achimota. Maybe I agree with you. The laws must work. The laws are there, but they are not working. It's not like and you see, it's not like the laws are human beings that will just wake up and say that we are working. It's human beings that would affect them, or that will put them to effect. Okay. Greetings from us to you. In fact, exhaust fumes from vehicles is just too much on our roads and causing serious health issues, but the authorities have neglected same. We need to be serious as a country. Julius from Kaswa with that message. Okay. OPK, you have set your own questions and you're answering, and it's a long one. I would urge you sometimes just stick to the issues that we talk about. Okay, but yeah, you let me just do that briefly. You say OPK patriotic voice is God, so regards to it's a long list, and you say that okay. According to Statistical Service, unemployment rate is now 21% and is due to the fact that the 24-hour economy, one job, 3 people is missing in action. I don't remember the GSS ever saying it's due to the 24-hour economy. But maybe, unless that's your position. Teachers and nurses, automatic postings promise is missing in action. Women's Bank promise is missing in action, etc. So there is no employment avenues for Ghanaians under the super incompetent, clueless and hopeless government of Mahama and NDC. And we must resist the oppressor's rule by voting for Dr. Baumia and the MPP in 2028. Okay, to save us from the bad governance. Okay, so that's OPK Patriotic Voices, Goso. It's good to know that people are listening all the way inside Goso and the Bono region. Okay. Charles, that's opposite the former Shangri-La Hotel. As of yesterday, they finished the cleanup. Yes, the cleanup exercise. Yes. Thank you so much. So as of yesterday, they finished the cleanup and covered back the drains there, but it's left with a few pavement blocks that they have removed to put back. Anyway, congratulations to them. Yes, okay, so if a few of the pavement blocks are left, they should go and cover them, because sometimes it can pose danger to people, especially if kids are walking around the area, or especially some of these are mentally deranged persons. You find them walk around there before you realize someone falls in and dies. So let's make sure that we cover them. Okay. A few other messages, then I will come back into studio and then we can have the conversations with our colleagues in studio, even as we await Kwame, Julius Kwame Anthony and co from the various political parties, and then we can get into the issues. We're also expecting Dr. Stephen Isaka to join us shortly. He tells me that he's held up by some traffic in town, but he'll be here shortly. Meshach Asante in Amasaman, wound to me, a prisoner now has seen the need to apologize for every offensive word and evil he did against President Mahama. Asemu. But according to Matthew 18:21-22, the Bible says we should forgive ourselves 77 by 7 times in a day. So I don't think President Mahama has anything against Chairman Wontumi. He has already forgiven him long time, but the forgiveness has nothing to do with his 20-year jail sentence, because the law is the law. And as quoted by Mame Gertrude Tokon, former Chief Justice. Greetings to JJ, Amasaman Constituency Secretary incoming for NDC, and Honorable Kwabena Ampon, incoming Vice President or Chairman for Amasaman Constituency. Okay, let me do the last batch, or the last two or three messages. DJ Opai Dimor from Kumasi Swami. Ghanaians voted for NDC government to make country or the country better, and to initiate or intimate Ghanaians. Okay, your message is not quite clear, but you are saying that they voted for the NDC to make the country a better place, and you say you love MPP. Greetings to Dr. Baumia. Okay, all right then. So good morning I'm Eben from Kwabena. Good news to all registered and good standing members of political parties. I believe all dues paying members of political parties will be happy for the 5-2 decision taken by the majority Supreme Court justices. Time will tell if those refusing to pay dues will backtrack or tomorrow is really pregnant. Regards to Chief Justice or Chief of Staff Dr. Julius Debra. Now, he's now Doctor. Remember to add that. Dr. Julius Debra, Honorable Peter Kwesi Mensah of Tema Shipyard, and Honorable MC Agbo of Ga East. Let me also say good morning to the Honorable MC. Kwame's MC. Kwame is always on this man. Kwame is always on this one. Maybe the last message before I bring into the conversations, my colleagues. Teacher Kuduti Obodomadanta say, look at the throne, look at the crown, watch how the wheels of the world turn around. Yesterday's giants are taking or are today's broken clay. For what power builds up, time takes away. You can hold a state gavel, you can lock up the gates, but no mortal man holds the key to his fate. Tell the corridors of power, let the message recline. Every king has his season, but the master is the time, or the master is time. You say, okay, you say you're talking about the NDC, and you say enough of your propaganda and rhetoric and fix the country. NDC, how much is kinky under this super incompetent government? How much is fuel prices? Let's give time some time. And you say your regards to a list of people. Quite a long one. Okay. I saw the Class Morning Show on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi. And you are very much urged to be a part of the program 0500,000 202. 0500,000 202. My brother, Amia Edujemfi, has joined me in studios. And then we started off with the delegate system that has been with us all this while. Now that the Supreme Court has ruled against it, it appears that we are divided as a people. While some are for, some are against it. And even within the same political parties, there are those who are for and those who are against it. And if you listen to the likes of Hajia, who called from Medina this morning, I mean, it doesn't look like it would cure the monocracy within the system. You want to believe, or you want to take sides with the Supreme Court that it would be able. You already espoused your position early on, but maybe just for emphasis of this conversation, you may want to reiterate it. That are you on the side of the Supreme Court that it would cure the monocracy in the system?
I am on the side of the Supreme Court that this is a remedy for the vote buying. What word should I use for it?
That's it all fits into the monetization of our body politics. The monocracy within the system,
which we all have been, for years condemning. So I think what the Supreme Court has done by 5-2 ruling is in the right order in tackling this particular issue, because obviously when there is that sort of monocracy and people are buying votes and all that, it corrupts the system. Although, like I always say, politicians have a way of, explaining things, a way of defining things. So they will say that they are gifting people, or they are, helping them, they are facilitating their movement to, the places and all that to vote. Which, of course, when it comes to that, you cannot term it, monocracy, because, if my people are coming to vote in a particular polling station and I'm giving them transport, fare, it doesn't translate into monocracy. It doesn't translate into vote buying. No, I don't think it translates into vote buying.
That's strange to hear.
No, it doesn't,
because I've had people also say that, look, you see, it involves money.
Yes.
So you are busing them from point A to point B to come and cast their ballots or their votes. You don't think that they will sympathize with you, that if I vote for this person, this person can do a lot for me?
Let me just flip it a little bit. What has John Dumelo been doing of late? He'll go to the schools, the University of Ghana, and give them free buses, right? Is that vote buying? In advance.
So there's certain.
Is that vote buying in advance?
No. So there's nothing like vote buying in advance. So listen. So here's the thing. So we're talking about when an election is nigh, so to speak, or an election is here. It has arrived, and people are doing things. So in the instance that you cited early on, it talks about when people are going to participate in some internal election, and then this person A who is also standing for a certain position goes to pay for their TNT or provides a bus to bus them. With regards to the setting or the circumstance under which he's doing, for me, would amount to vote buying. But if we are talking about John Dumelo now, John Dumelo is, as we speak now, the next election, the next general election is 2028. There's no election at hand. So within the stipulated time frame, you can understand that he's doing what he needs to do as an MP to his people. It is not as though he's in an election era. And then within that very stipulated time, he goes on to say that, let me give you food, you need food. Because during that specific time, it means that you are buying into, or you are appealing somewhat to the people to let them know that if you vote for me, I can provide more of this. But within this period as we are talking, I don't think that qualifies for vote buying.
Prior to, the election day, they do their campaigns, right? So they, virtually know that some people will be in their, on their side. And they know that others will also be on their side. So let's say they are doing the election in Kumasi, and the people, some are, stationed in, Western region, Central region, they don't have money to come. And I'm saying that, okay, I'm providing free buses. So you just come and vote. I've not written on the buses, come and vote for me. I'm just providing free buses for people to come and vote. Does that amount to vote buying?
I'm saying that that's what happens. It happens most of the time.
Yeah, but I'm saying does it amount to vote buying?
That's what I think. That's what I think.
So okay. So
you see, we live in an era where, see, mind you, even you and I as journalists, sometimes when we go out to do stories, the people that we speak to, sometimes they tell you that my Mr. Kansa Makasa. You get it?
Yeah.
So now we've equated development to receiving something from you. Okay.
Which is very unfortunate.
Exactly. Yeah. So unless you give me something, I'm not doing something. So we've condemned acts where you give monies directly to people that take this envelope. It's a token from me. Because obviously once the cameras capture you, people will criticize you that you are buying their conscience. You get it?
Yeah.
Now we have advanced it to a certain stage, or we are covertly doing it in a way that will not receive the backlash from the people. So let me provide a buzz. And I'm saying that once you can do that, once the party doesn't say anything with regards to that,
so that's what
I'm just making the point that
me, it doesn't amount to
it does for me.
Buying.
For me, it does. For me, it does. That's my position, though. That's my position. It does, because once you provide bus to transport people from a certain point to a certain point, you are telling the people that I have the capacity to do more.
Okay.
Indirectly, you are telling them that I have the capacity to do more.
For me,
and there are those within who can be influenced.
What I see to be vote buying is when the election is going on and people are sharing envelopes. That is vote buying for me.
So and for you, it should happen at within the election.
Yeah, that is vote buying for me.
Where the election.
That's why I cited John Dumelo. Come to the same logic. Fine, the election is in 2028, but he's providing free buses today. Is he not buying into their minds that in 2028 vote for me?
No, that you can't equate that to. I'm talking about the setting.
The fact that somebody does his earlier, somebody does this.
We can't compare the two. No, we can't compare the two.
It's the same thing.
We can't compare the two.
During prior to the election, okay, the election.
So let me ask you this question.
I'm providing free buses.
Let me ask you this question.
Go and vote.
So let me ask you this question.
And you are saying that is vote buying because the election is near. Now somebody is saying that okay, no, the election is in 2028, but I'm providing free buses for schools because these youthful people are they will be voting during 2028. They are the ones who will be voting. I'm providing free buses for them when they close, they can go home and all that. Am I not influencing them in some way to vote for me in 2028?
So by your logic,
is it not also vote buying?
By your logic,
yeah.
Then MPs who are there, they are all doing vote buying.
In some way, it's
you see the point I'm making is that.
But I'm saying the only vote buying I see, which officially I can term vote buying, is when the election is going on and you are sharing something, freebies, giving them envelopes, which they do all the time. Televisions, we saw one. Just recently, television.
The Baba Jamal incident.
Yes. That was happening on the day of the election. Then you are buying their vote because some people who are even maybe tilted towards somebody else because you are sharing this, or sometimes because the money is higher. They'll come for the higher amount and come and vote for you. So that one should be discouraged. But if somebody is in the central region, cannot come to Kumasi, and I am maybe, in the capacity of providing free buses for all the voters and I've not said come and vote for me.
There's no
and
law that bars you from doing that.
And you come and you vote for me. How is that vote buying?
There is no law that bars you. That's why people would always hide under that cloak to say that, look, there's no law. I'm just providing something.
Yes.
I mean, weren't we in this country where a certain candidate was providing food for people and says that, how do you translate that into vote buying?
No, that was bad. That one was bad. I remember that candidate you are talking about. She was doing it on the day of the election.
Okay, so the day when you are busing the people from the place point A to point B, is it not on the same day of election?
But how does it influence their vote in your favor?
How does the food the person was giving to people influence their vote? This is the point we need to make clear.
And you are giving the person food or you are giving the person money. That is different from I'm busing you to come and vote for whoever you want to vote for. I haven't asked you to come and vote for me. You got the point? If my name is on it, come and vote for me is different.
Okay, so here's my position. And even as we're talking, Dr. Stephen Isaka has joined us in studio. We're still waiting for Julius Kwame Anthony to join us in studio so that we can actually have a good conversation in that regard. Here's my position. No one would say that, hi, gentlemen, good morning. Here's something to buy your vote. No one will tell you that. You get it? It is about giving you something that would make you think, or that will get you thinking that, okay, I've received something from somebody. You see, whether directly or indirectly, we are being influenced. In the case of the vehicles or the provision of the vehicles, you are indirectly being influenced because it is helping you to go there to cast your ballot. You have it at the back of your mind to cast your ballot for, say, person B, not person A. And in this case, person A refers to the one who has paid for your TNT or provided the buses to convey you from wherever you are to a certain location. Okay, so then you begin asking yourself, you'll be thinking that if person A is able to provide buses for me to go and cast my ballot, what sense does it make to go and cast my ballot or my vote for person B, who I've not even seen around? Are you getting the point? So I'm just making the point that directly or indirectly, these things or these happenings have a way of influencing the mindset, the mentality of the people. You get it? It has that propensity to influence you. But you and I seated here where, we've advanced some of these conversations that, look, these things will not buy us.
Yeah, definitely.
The ordinary Ghanaian out there. It is about bread and butter issues. So once somebody is able to do, and that is the point. You see, whenever we have the conversation about the monocracy within the system, I pretty much, talk about what the people have reduced politics to. And it's also because of how the people who are vying for the various positions have also presented themselves to the people. That, I have it, I have the money. And so the people are waiting that anytime there's an election, come give us money before we do A, B, and C for you. And those people who are standing for the positions, we're not going to tell them that I'm giving you this or I'm doing that for you to buy your vote. They will not say it directly. That is the position I'm coming from. Or that's the argument I'm making as far as this entire issue is concerned. So on the very day of election, some of these things shouldn't be happening. The party can't say that, okay, we are busing people to the various centers, the various polling centers, the various election centers to go and cast your ballot. So today, meet here at this time, and then you go there and then you cast your ballots. That is understandable. But for even though there are no laws barring the individuals from doing so, I think that it's indirectly buying them.
And I am saying that per the logic you've just espoused, okay, I'm saying that then we should discourage any MP, any parliamentary candidate and then a sitting MP who is into it. Because whether the person...
Who is into what? How do you determine if someone is into it?
I'm coming now. Let me just develop my point.
Right.
Whether the person is doing it today or will do it in 2028 or will do it in 2027, it's still the same fashion. Because if I provide free buses, let's say in 2027, for people to just come and vote, not saying that come and vote for me, but if you think that because I've provided free buses, it influences your vote, when you know very well who you were going to vote for in the first place, and somebody today is also providing free buses for students who will be voting on the day of an election, and you are saying that we should not compare the two, then I don't know.
It's not on the day of election.
No.
John Dumelo's is not on the day of election.
I know, but I'm saying it's about influencing the minds of people. But
the circumstances is key in this argument.
It's the same result.
No, the circumstances are different.
But it is orchestrated differently. It is the same result orchestrated. Let me ask you one question. How does providing free buses for students contribute to development of the constituency?
How does it contribute to development?
Of the constituency.
Development, it depends on how you see development.
So you see,
no, wait,
you are now
wait.
coming to explain
wait,
how I should be looking at development.
Exactly. So perhaps you are looking at the infrastructural development side of things.
And I'm saying
there's the human development or the human resource development side of things, which is there. There's also the safety of your constituent. It's also development. So we can look at it from different angles.
But I'm saying,
but let me. I'll just hold your guns. Perhaps let me just introduce into the conversation, Dr. Stephen Isaka. Doc, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Charles, and good morning to my brother.
Yeah. So that's a colleague in here, and we're just having our usual, back and forth with regards to the topic. And while we are with, yourself and then Anthony Julius, was there hold up? Was there traffic?
There was a bit of traffic.
Accra and traffic. Okay, I'm sure we'll come back to the key takeaways for you in terms of the budget itself sometime last week. But with regards to the two issues that we're talking about, and it is because of the ruling that we, saw from court yesterday, the Supreme Court, essentially, ruling against the delegate system.
Yeah.
And first of all, what's going to be your assessment or your take, your preliminary comment on it? There are those who have said that, well, it's all well and good, and those who have also said that, no, we don't think it's good. But where do you stand as far as this issue is concerned?
First off, let me just say that this broke yesterday, and the party hasn't come up with a definitive position yet. Therefore, it would be amiss of me to be saying...
So you're personal? Because I've heard a lot of people from even the NDC. Some say that, okay, so for instance, Mahdi Jibril says that it's good. And then, I'm trying to recall the name. Okay, so Ahmed Ibrahim, the Banda MP and then Minister for Local Government, he used a certain expression, essentially saying that, no, we need to really look at it again. So you can express your personal opinion,
I suppose,
not a party.
In which case, as an analyst, I'll probably look at it from three angles. So it will be the advantages and disadvantages of it. And of course, whether the Supreme Court overreached the hand.
Maybe you may want to switch to that mic for me. I don't know. We seem to be having a problem with this one, and I'm getting the indication that listeners are not hearing you well. It's still the Class 1 issue here on Class 91.3 FM. In studios with me, Dr. Stephen Isaka is from the NDC Communications Bureau, and my colleague Ami Aidu Jemfi right here with us at Class 91.3 FM. Doc.
Yeah, so
okay, this is clear.
I probably summarize what I was saying. So what I was saying was that the party hasn't come up with a definitive position yet. As a very well-structured party, our legal team, obviously, and the party executive will look at this and with time come up with a position on it. But if you ask me from a personal point of view, I think there are three ways we can look at this. We can look at the advantages of this particular ruling, the disadvantages of it, and of course, whether the judiciary in exercising this duty overreached their hand. All right. So advantageously, I think what this does is that it deals a blow to our monetary or the monetization of our politics. Ghanaians have been crying for a while now and complaining about how our politics has been monetized. A study by the CDD said that you will need about $200 million to be able to contest presidential elections in Ghana. That is not if you win, just
$2 million.
200
for what?
million.
Really?
200 million. That is
$200 million.
$200 million.
What do you use that amount for?
Indeed. So that goes into the heart of our monetization, and what that
Giving
does
to
then.
People.
No, I mean the structures you need to put in place. Not just that, but of course probably part of it as well. But the structures that need to go into place, and obviously the campaigning itself is quite grueling, and for a small opposition party, that is simply a no-go area. And so people have called for us to curb the monetization of our politics. And the idea was that good people, good statesmen, good stateswomen who had the potential to be leaders were sort of, swept aside simply because they didn't have the money to contest. And so therefore, I think this cuts the fuel into our monetization, because it's quite easy to, identify, segregate a couple of party executives or constituency executives and as it were, bribe them. But you will have to do this on a national scale, from constituency to constituency, from polling station to polling station, across millions of voters. That is simply impossible. All right. So that's the first thing it actually does. For me, the second thing it does positively is the fact that it widens our political base. So it brings the grassroots into our body politic. For us as the NDC, we are a mass movement, mass socialist democratic movement, obviously. But what this does is that it allows our party members to get involved in running affairs of our party, basically. And that also means that you would get to a point where you can expand your party base, basically. Remember, in 2015, we actually tried this, so it's not something new to us. It might be new to the opposition or the MPP in particular, but it's not new to us. The third thing, I suppose, on top of my head would be actually what it also does is that it allows individuals to sign up and become party members. If I know that by having a party card, that qualifies me to ultimately decide who runs the country and who rules the country, it will make me want to be a party member. And that broadens our party base. In addition to that, that also allows us to deepen our civic education within the country. The next thing it probably does is the fact that it allows parties to, as it were, be able to grow their base and to say that, listen, we are a democratic institution here. Because if you just allow a few party gatekeepers to then monopolize the institution, then what you do is that you ostracize others from participating in the political process. On the flip side, it is the case that this is going to be a nightmare logistically and administratively. You are talking, we've already talked about the fact that you need about $200 million to be able to, contest presidential elections in Ghana. And this was just perhaps going through party delegates and so on and so forth. Now, think about what is going to happen if this campaigning and this voting has to be open to the entire country, to every single party voter, if you like, or card-bearing member. That is going to be a logistical nightmare in terms of administrative cost and overheads, basically. So you would have to pay electoral officials, you would have to print ballot papers, and it's going to be a nightmare. That's the first one. Second one would be the fact that what it also does is that, do we actually have the governance architecture as a country to make this work? And Imani, for example, Kofi Bento talks about the fact that we are not there yet in terms of our biometric, processes, in terms of, being able to have a system that is foolproof. We don't have that as yet. The next thing we can also talk about would be the fact that it's quite difficult for us as a people in terms of the Ghana card. The Ghana card is the only yardstick we probably have, but it is not there yet. It hasn't got that capacity to be able to integrate seamlessly our data. And so for some people, it would be a nightmare. I also think that what this does is that it takes the power away from parties to be able to pick and nurture politicians for the future. All right. So if you look at the UK system, for example, you look at someone like Keir Starmer, who was only in Parliament 2015. By 2024, he was already a prime minister. Forget the fact that he didn't last that much. That is not the point. Sunak was in Parliament in 2015. By 2022, he was prime minister already. He was leader of the party and prime minister. So if you take this away from the political parties, then you create a problem. Because a political party should be able to identify a star in the making and say, look, if I give this guy a safe seat, your Bantama seat, your Swami, no, not Swami, your Swami, if you like, your Mashia, Saf, and so on and so forth, I can groom this guy up. He can become an MP and go through the process. And so what this might effectively do is that with the next Opong Nkrumah, for example, not be identified then. We know, for example, that we as political parties have gone down to the university level and we are beginning to identify our talents right from that point of view. This creates that particular problem. So I should be able to parachute, or a party should be able to parachute a rising star into a safe seat and groom that person from that particular point of view. We know that with Haruna Juzu, we know that with Arnaud Dompré, and so on and so forth. And so for some people, this possibly creates that bottleneck for political parties. Having said that, let's look at the judicial architecture. The Supreme Court overplayed their hand in this particular instance. There are those who will argue that according to Article 92, and I'm not a lawyer, so I might be quoting this from a layman's point of view, but according to Article 92, I think it's E1, there's freedom of association. And political parties are muted and founded on that principle that there's freedom of association. Therefore, are we then going to get to the point where we're beginning to tell people who they can associate with and who they cannot associate with? It's also based on the principle of the fact that, clubs, social clubs are voluntary associations. Political parties are voluntary associations as well. Are we going to get to a point where we are beginning to tell political parties what you can and cannot do? Internal processes within clubs should be left to left to those particular groups, and therefore the Supreme Court getting involved in this for some people is a violation of that right to freedom of association. There are also those who think that actually what then happens to separation of powers and what we call the political question. Every now and then, the Supreme Court gets a case that they say, no, this is a political question. This is a political matter. We don't intend to get involved. For some people, was that a political question? Did they overplay their hand in this particular instance? Especially when they give political parties a 1-year mandate or 1-year time frame within which they have to take corrective measures. That's a policy, if you like, imposition. And for some people, that is not the role of the Supreme Court. That is far away from the interpretation.
But the law has, the Supreme Court has made it ruling, whether you like it or not.
It has made its ruling, but we can't compare. But if you analyze from the point of view of an analyst, did they overplay their hand? And for some analysts, they did overplay their hand.
You think so too?
Yes, I possibly think so too, because I don't think their job is to... okay, let's take this particular analogy. Okay, let's take the Church of Pentecost, or the Assemblies of God Church, who have the penchant of producing leaders who then become Pentecostal, Ghana Pentecostal Council leaders. So if you look at the story of Untumi, became Pentecost. I think Opokunyina became one as well. We do know that Nyamiche, Apostle Nyamiche, Dr. Apostle Nyamiche is one as well.
Is that your church?
It's not my church, actually, but I do know them. My church is Assemblies of God.
Oh, okay.
So are we going to say that because this church produces leaders who then become national figures, we should go in and tell them how they elect their leaders? So every Church of Pentecost member has to get involved in electing them? The answer is no. So why is it that when it comes to politics, we think that the Supreme Court has that? Of course, they do have the power to interpret the Constitution, but was that a policy imposition, or was that interpretation? So the analysts go both ways, and the jury is out there basically. Others also think that this will have the opposite effect of what it is trying to sort of create, because look, if you ask the ordinary opposition party, let's just take, Janet Nabila's, PNC.
So no, she has her own party. What's the name of the party?
She used to be
with the PNC.
So okay, yes, so let's just take Janet Nabila. And apologies, I've used that example. It's not for any pejorative reasons. Is it the case that she's going to have the resources to go to every single nook and cranny in this country to register every potential voter? Perhaps the answer is no. She hasn't got that leeway. She hasn't got that, So my point is this, that it will have the very opposite effect of what it's intending to have, which is the fact that small parties will simply be swiped away. They can't compete. So that will have the opposite effect of what this was intended to basically do.
So her party is the People's National Party.
People's National Party. So PNP, founded on the original PNP. So yes, so that is my point. And for some people, that's simply not going to help those parties. Another one you can think is that, look, while we are trying to run away from the monitocracy of our politics, we are in danger of creating ultra monitocracy here.
How so?
Because this would involve nationwide, if you like, crisscrossing. It would involve registering every single political voter out there. It would simply mean that the man with the deepest pockets is the one who will be able to do this. Okay? It will also mean that those celebrities out there who have the razzmatazz and the blitz are the ones who are going to win elections. So, for example, if you ask me to contest Shatawale in an election, all right, would I have that resources? But simply, I don't even know Accra, let alone Accra know with me. So, Shatawale, it's going to be hands down. There will be no competition here. Basically,
you're saying it creates an unfair advantage.
It would create an unfair advantage for some people, basically. Like I said, if you ask me to contest an election with Stoneboy, there's only going to be one winner in this particular instance. He's got the razzmatazz, he's got the deep pockets, he's got the blitz. I haven't got that. And if this involves, registering every single voter out there, don't forget that as a country, we haven't got a constitutional provision that allows political parties to be funded. So this should be basically done by political parties, registering and getting their money. And it will be impossible for small parties and smaller people to be able, as it were, I don't use that pejoratively, to be able to, as it were, contest fairly. So look, like I said, the party hasn't come up with its position as yet. as a well-structured party. I'm sure that our leaders and our legal teams are poring over every document of the certified copy, and at the right time, unlike others who issue ad hoc presses, we won't do that. We'll take our time, and this will be to look. We've done this before, and for us as the NDC, this is not a problem. We are a social mass party in a way, and so we'll emerge stronger when the chips are down, basically. But as I said, I would analyze this as I've done. I've analyzed this from the point of view of the positive, the negative, and what the Supreme Court had the right to
you're not talking today as a politician, as a usual politician, and it's just unfortunate that we don't have our brothers here in studio with us. Just a few minutes ago, we got an indication from our brother Ohineba Kwame Danso from the MPP that he can't come here this morning, even as production was ongoing. So sometimes it actually disrupts production. But
I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean,
what is the MPP running away from?
Well, I don't think they're running away from anything. I don't think so. He tells me that. He's also contesting for one of the.
Okay.
I think he's going for the Greater Accra Regional Communications Director.
So I think we can give him that.
So a lot of
things are ongoing at the moment.
Actually, yeah. So I mean, we've you and I have been having the conversation all this while. That look, the monitocracy within the system is it something that we can do away with? If you listen to Doc, and of course he's given his submission as a professional in that regard, it looks like it hasn't. There's no what's the expression? Okay, I'm looking for the expression, but it hasn't really. Yes, it hasn't really become the
solution.
The solution,
panacea.
The panacea. That's the word I'm looking for. The panacea to the monitocracy in the system. So we are only at a stage where we are trying to see what would happen.
It's like we are massaging the problem, issues, right? The issues. Yeah, and from listening to Doc and the things he said, I think this thing needs to be looked at holistically. Because he even made a point that it might disadvantage the smaller parties because now they have to expand and they have to go across the 276 constituencies and register members and all that.
Do they have the capacity?
The capacity?
Vis-a-vis the other political parties,
exactly.
i.e. the NDC, the MPP.
Exactly.
These are very much entrenched political parties within our space.
So it would take time for the smaller parties or the small parties, as we term them, to be. It will take time for them to actually assimilate or get themselves in this particular space where they are prepared for it. Because I don't think, like Doug said, I don't think if they are to go across the 276 constituencies, they can really have the strength to do that. And also, like we said, we are talking about it early on, that this thing also could pave way for infiltration.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you could go on, please.
Oh no,
I can hear you briefly on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could go into your political party, send people to register,
exactly.
And then what they can then do is vote for the weakest link.
Yes.
And so therefore I can beat him easily, hands down, basically. So that's one way we can look at it.
Should we have the Supreme Court? And you see, then again, you made a point that the Supreme Court perhaps overplayed its hand. And have charted waters where we shouldn't see the Supreme Court actually get into, i.e., for instance, telling them to comply with the ruling in about a year's time. Should we have the Supreme Court perhaps also making suggestions? I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, making suggestions as regards how we can check against the excesses, some of these excesses. Is it possible to have something?
I think that would just muddy the waters further from my perspective, and I think it should just be left the way it is at the moment. We could also be somebody go in there and challenge this particular one.
Yeah, I'm looking up to that.
Potentially, that's something
for a review.
We can go. Yeah, but I think one of the things I forgot to mention would also be the fact that what this would do is that it would probably advantageously stop this post-election primary rancor that we often have. Because what will happen is that if you go through that graft of going through polling station by polling station, then you have candidates who are popular when they emerge eventually, and this post-election violence that we often get, and disputes leading to, we know about the NPP at the moment, there are issues in court, the base movement has just come up. Because what often happens is that the accusation is often the fact that, my opponent, found the delegates and bribed them. They wouldn't often say he outbribed me. They wouldn't often say he outbribed me. He would simply say my opponent bought the delegates. But if this goes through the graft of root and branch and everybody getting involved, then we probably eliminate that particular potential. So that's an advantage as well, basically. But like I said, it's choppy waters. There are pluses and minuses on both sides, and we just have to see how it goes, basically.
So basically, it doesn't really tackle the monocracy. I mean, the issue of monocracy, because in any way, if the system can be, I mean, if they want to exploit the system, they can still exploit the system.
Of course.
Yeah. So expanding it, I think, it will just serve as, I mean, some way it will serve as punishment for those who want to exploit the system. But if you are capable of doing so, you can. I mean, especially when you are, very much wealthy and you want to, utilize the system in your favor, to your advantage, you can do so. But I mean, we should also accept the fact that no matter what decision is taken, there can still be the minuses. I mean, so
absolutely.
Definitely. So we just have to look at the bigger picture here, which of course is to rope in, the larger population to also participate, because in a way, they also have a point by saying that, okay, if we, during the main elections, we have the right to vote, then why should we be denying the right to elect our leaders? So obviously, looking at the bigger picture, it's okay that they expand the universal adult suffrage for them, but it doesn't really tackle what we want. The reason for this expansion. If it is about the vote buying, then it wouldn't really do much about it.
It is about the various political parties putting in place tougher, stricter measures to ensure that we stem against sin. We are able to deal with the monitocracy within the system. But in a system where the political parties do not have that commitment, so to speak, to be able to deal with some of these happenings within their own circles, because mind you, see, there are people who are, of course, politically funded. So I'm going for a certain political position. I have my financier somewhere. And the authorities up there, they know that there are people financing other people's activities. And so if we are to put the laws in place to check against monitocracy within the system, it will come back to haunt them. It will come back to hit them. They themselves seated at the top. I don't know if you get the point I'm making.
Absolutely.
So the issue to do with monitocracy within the system is one that will be so difficult to deal with. However, this ruling given by the Supreme Court, could a political party say that, look, this is our position? Let's say that maybe a political party agrees that it is all well and good. How then do we use it to our advantage as a political party, collectively, to say that the intention behind it is understandable, but really it is not going to solve the issue? But how do we move from here in terms of dealing with the issue of monitocracy or monetization of our body politics, as we say all the time? Should the political parties begin asking themselves and perhaps putting in place tougher, stricter measures to dealing with some of these things?
Listen, our constitution is a very organic document, and therefore it would often have constitutional evolution. And this particular case is an evolution, basically. So as much as we can criticize, we can also say that, look, we have to evolve as a people. So there are positives there. Look, for us to be able to kick out monetocracy and the monetization of our body politic, I think I had a conversation with somebody a while ago as to when this actually crept into our body politic. And we all agree that at the dawn of 1992, when this started, it was not the case. He probably estimates that it probably began in the 2000s, basically. It was when our politicians from both sides began to live fat and began, because apparently in those 90s, MPs, for example, lived a very, very simple life. All right, he would often go to his constituency, sometimes on a motorbike, sometimes with a Peugeot. Was what the government gave them money to purchase in those days.
Yeah.
That is not to say there were no Land Cruisers in those days. That's not to say there were no Pajaros in those days. They were all there, but they gave them Peugeots. And so ordinary people found, parliamentarians to be ordinary human beings. But the moment we as a country, lifted the bar and jumped into our Land Cruiser, regime and so on and so forth, the electorate began to realize that actually There's money in this business. I have voted for somebody. His life has changed overnight. He doesn't live in my constituency anymore. He lives in Accra. He comes down. He drives a very fat car, and therefore maybe I need to demand a pound of flesh because again others argue that it is because our MPs have not often gone to the constituency enough, and so therefore if I vote for you and the next time I see you will be in 4 years, then I will demand a pound of flesh now. And when you come back in 4 years, I'll demand it again. So there are various, but I think it would be worth an academic research or exercise for somebody to go into this, maybe for one of our think tanks to go into this, find out what actually caused it and when it actually started, and then proceed from there to begin to give solutions to it. On top of my head, I'll probably think that it will require civic education right down to our secondary schools and into our junior secondary schools, so that we can actually, and conscientize and enlighten our young people that that is not the way politics works. It's not all about money, and that it amounts to bribery. For anything at all, if for nothing at all, bribery is against the law in our constitution. And therefore, if we go down that far, I suppose that we might probably begin to turn this around. It will also be the duty of political parties within the education wings of political parties, perhaps to educate their members that, listen, this is not about money. It's about governance. It's about bringing our ideas and our ideologies to bear on the country for the good of the entire country and not for individuals. Therefore, it is not about money. But I think it should be difficult for us to take this out of our body politic. I mean, somebody was telling me that these days, if you go down to, we're talking about how we can kick corruption out of our body politic. And we are like, look, political parties have gone down even to the level of universities. And nearly every SRC president is now a potential MP. They've been groomed from that level onwards. Political parties have gone into that space where they actually fund, the elections of SRC presidents. So that is how difficult and that is how much the canker has festered. And therefore, it will be difficult to cut it off. But I suppose at some point we'll have a breed of leaders who might determine that actually this is not the way to go and this is a race to the bottom. And it might be that at that point you probably stop, but it will be difficult.
Some messages here before we move on to our second topic for the day. Good morning. The Supreme Court ruling is straightforward. It is not saying all registered voters should vote for candidates. It is about the party's supporters voting for the party's candidates. The NDC has used the open franchise system of voting before. We shouldn't have any problem with it. David Sena with that message. David, thank you so very much. Okay. Good morning, Charles. Yes, political parties should find their own presidential and parliamentary elections to avoid bad candidates being elected. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. Let's weigh the advantages. Joseph from Tema Community 25 with that message. What do you also make of the issues we're discussing so far? 0500,000 202 is the WhatsApp line we are using this morning. If you like, 0500 000 202. That's the WhatsApp line. Let me hear you on the issues that we've shared with you so far this morning. Special good morning to you, David, and of course, always doing the listening and contributing. And there's a lot you learn from David, and whenever she texts onto the program, she's deep in that regard. David, special good morning going out to you. Let's go back to our second topic.
The second topic. This is just. I think we also. There is a point that we need to also address with this Supreme Court ruling. We spoke about the smaller parties being disadvantaged, but I'm also looking at another angle to it that it also curtail the influx of parties. Now everybody sits in his room and then starts a party. Party this, party that.
You can clearly see they are going nowhere.
Yeah, they are going nowhere, and everybody wants to, because they just think that they are using it for their also, parochial interests and all that. So I think it's also to check these excesses and also to challenge the small parties to, get to the level of the bigger parties. Because if you have been a small party for a very long time, it's almost like, I don't want to use the word you're unserious, but it appears so. So maybe this is to challenge them that, okay, if you want to really be taken seriously, then do what the other parties are supposed to do. So if we are the ones terming them or defining them as small parties, but if you are a political party, I think you should have the capacity to go. Across all the 200
serious political party.
If you're a serious party, you should be doing that. So I think, like you just said, it's like a carrot and stick thing. So it has and then it helps. On the other side as well. Yeah.
Okay.
What about this? Just would this not disadvantage the dedicated party members? All right, like that, typical midfielder who plays a yeoman's job, but simply because he doesn't score goals and he doesn't make last-ditch clearances, nobody actually sees him. There are those people who are the ones who often contribute when it comes to contributing. There are those guys who sweep the party offices. They are there 24/7 in party offices, and the advantage they only get is the fact that they get to elect whoever. If you suddenly take away that from him and then you allow the guy who came in yesterday's vote to be as strong as his vote, don't we risk, that situation where the dedicated party members will suddenly say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So again, that would be another way we can look.
Anyway, it's not a Class 1 issue radio on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi. And of course, today's Wednesday. Oh, today's Thursday.
Yeah.
Doc, tomorrow I'm done. Tomorrow I'm done. Kwame Juba is coming next week. So tomorrow I'll be done. I'll be done sitting in for Kwame Juba. He is coming back, so I can also rest. My bread. But let's move on and discuss the second issue, and it's got to do with another ruling from the Supreme Court as regards the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which has been in the news mostly, I should say, for the bad reasons. I mean, we are here most of the time we bashing the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It's not doing this, it's not doing that, and there's somebody who has actually taken the law to the court for an interpretation whether or not the act establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor constitutionally is right. The Supreme Court has upheld that, or it has upheld the constitutionality of the act establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and it's gone ahead to affirm the powers of the Attorney General or the Attorney General's Department to actually end prosecutions that have been started by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So I was looking at the two issues, OSP, AG. Maybe I would invite Doc into this. Doc, let me have you in studio because it would need some legal brains as well so that you interpret things to me. The Office of the Special Prosecutor and then the Attorney General. Now we understand constitutionally the Attorney General has that powers already, but we only went to court, or the person who took it to court only took it there for some interpretation in that regard by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In this case, per the ruling, does that mean that the AG can decide that, look, it also means that, or it doesn't take away the fact that the Special Prosecutor cannot go ahead to prosecute the issues, or cannot go ahead to say that, look, I'm ending the issues at this point in time. So it means that the two bodies, so to speak, or the two agencies still have the same power. They have the same level of power. Does that mean, Doc, let me have you here. I need an interpretation. I need a lawyer. I need an interpretation. Come, let me have you here. Does that mean that perhaps would have to go back, the AG would have to go back to Parliament and make amendments to the law establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor before it can wholly take the law to itself to say that I am solely vested with the power to ending prosecution or otherwise? It is not the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I don't know if you get a point I'm making.
I do get a point.
You get a point. Yeah. If you have any submission in that regard,
because I do have a let's hear from the expert first, and then I will make.
Because I saw Doc there, and he was asking what I was talking about. Doc, sit down. There's a reason why you see.
Let's hear the expert first.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why. There's a reason. I like him. He's solid. He's solid. And when I say he says I'm mischievous, but Doc, here's the thing: the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Yes. AG. Now the court has affirmed the powers of the AG, that it has the power to
prosecute,
end,
to
stop
I thought you were
prosecutions that have been nolli prosequi, to enter nolli prosequi in terms of cases that are under investigation. So as it stands now, but it doesn't also take away that power from the OSP, does it? The OSP still has that power. It's still clothed with that power.
Yes, I mean the powers of the OSP, did you say OSP?
OSP, yes.
Has which power?
The power is to prosecute. And say that at this point I want to enter a nolli prosequi. So for instance...
But was it not the ruling that the OSP has the power to prosecute, but the AG has the power to enter nolli prosequi and...
Okay. Okay. So it means that the OSP doesn't have the power to enter into a nolli prosequi?
The OSP, yes. As it stands now...
The OSP doesn't have.
What the
ruling
is saying. It is the AG only who has the power to enter nolli prosequi.
Okay. So, that clears it for me. Otherwise, I was going to ask whether or not the AG would have to go back to Parliament to have an amendment done to the law establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor to say that The ruling as we have it now still vests the power in the OSP to enter nolle prosequi in terms of the cases that have been prosecuted.
Yeah.
So in this case, the AG doesn't have to go back to Parliament to do anything. Okay.
The ruling is clear on what the mandate of the AG is. I mean, I don't even know where this whole thing is going and why the entire conversation even started in that regard. Because the powers of the AG there is enshrined in the Constitution, Article 88. It is the only office in governance which is stated
Constitution,
in the Constitution, and its mandate clearly written for whatever reason that it is. And so I do not know where all of this whole thing started and why it even started at all. I
think somebody challenged the OSP for not having the power to prosecute. He forgot his name basically, and so he sort of took it to court for an interpretation.
Okay, guys, we'll come back and have the discussion. But you recall the issue to do with the former Maslock boss who has been extradited back into the country, Sedina Atieno. The news coming in at this point in that she's been acquitted and discharged. So you are hearing it the first time. She's been acquitted and discharged. My colleague Caleb Ahinakwa is joining me in studios with some details in that regard. There were a whole lot of issues with regards to getting her back into the country and what have you. Finally, she came back into the country, and then there were questions about whether or not indeed she's serving her jail sentence in Sawam. There were people who went on the ground to verify same. We saw the Fourth Estate, the Manasseh Azuri made a post on social media that indeed he's verified, and I can conclusively say that Sedina Matieno was behind bars. But here we are, my Caleb. I said my Caleb, and of course you are my Caleb. My colleague Caleb Kuda has joined me in studios.
Caleb Ahinakwa.
What did I say?
Kuda.
I said what? Caleb Ahinakwa. Forgive me. So what more do we know as far as her acquittal is concerned?
It's pointing towards Sedina Tamaklo being acquitted and discharged. And in simple terms, she's a free woman, and that was judgment from the Court of Appeal just a while ago. So if you recall, this particular decision has set aside the earlier judgments, that had found her guilty of, causing financial loss to the state, and some other related offenses. So the Court of Appeal's ruling now essentially clears her of all the charges, that she was earlier convicted of, and so further details of the judgment hopefully we get some more around 12 p.m. from our court correspondent. But as it stands now, yes, she's a free woman. Let me just re-emphasize and stress.
How did we even get here in the first place?
As I rightly mentioned, there were some charges towards her, and I'm trying to get what the charges were. But as at the time, she was the CEO of the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, Maslock, and she is said to have taken some monies, of which the charge being causing financial loss to the state, and there's some other related offenses to which she was, as at the time she was here heading this particular office. And we know she traveled along the way, and her conviction also came when she was in absentia. And so we can get some more of those details, hopefully, when the judgment rules out later in the day.
So she was given 10 years in prison with hard labor, which some of these legal persons have said that started even as she was far away wherever she was. So it started, and then she was back here in the country to finish it up. We'll get some more details, just as Caleb has said, but the news, just as we have it, indicates that Sedina Atieno Tamaklo, the former Maslock boss, has been acquitted and discharged, and is a free woman at this point in time. You heard it first, right on Class 91.3 FM. Stay tuned. Of course, at 12 Live, we'll be bringing you some further and better particulars as far as the issue is concerned this morning. My colleague, Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, is here. Doc, let me hear you.
What more can I say? The Court of Appeal has spoken. We will look out for the reasoning of the three wise men regarding the acquittal and discharge of the Honorable Sedina Tamaklo. And subsequent to that, if we have any commentaries, we would come and let the good people of Ghana know. At this point, the lawyers will say, I have nothing to add. But to wait for the entire ruling and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Doc.
Yes.
We have the two doctors actually. Anyway, Doc, let me hear you. And time is not on our side. We have barely 4 minutes to actually wrap up the show this morning. And let me hear you on the issue to do with the OSP. Doc, you were making a certain point. Perhaps you might want to land with that or make the point fully, so that I bring in Dr. Isaka. With regards to the Office of the Special Prosecutor and then the Attorney General, you state that it's the only institution that has expression in the Constitution. Okay, Dr. Desmond Anani. I said Doc, so yeah. So Dr.
Okay,
Desmond
all right.
Anani. I was saying that maybe make your point fully with regards to that, so that I can bring in Dr. Isaka into
What
it.
exactly? Because I mean, like the court case.
No. So we're talking about the OSP and then the AG.
Oh yeah. So like I've said, I mean, I've made a point that I honestly do not know what even brought about the reasoning for anybody to go for interpretation as to what the OSP.
You think there were no ambiguities?
For me,
with regards to the law,
I mean, if you read the bill, for which reason gave birth to
the establishment
of the OSP, for me there was no ambiguity in it. It was clear that it's supposed to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. And what I mean, its mandate was clear. Whatever that needs to be done to ensure that the office, I mean, is enhanced to and ensure that governance is on the right path and what have you, for me, was not ambiguous at all. But hey, you went for interpretation. The Supreme Court has spoken. I think that it settles the matter.
Right.
Puts the matter in proper perspective of what the mandate of these two institutions should be. And that should settle it for us.
Okay. Doc.
Yeah, first off, on the point of Sergeant Tamaklo, look, I welcome this decision. What it shows is that, justice in Ghana is fueled by the points of law. We hear that justice, grinds slowly, but it also grinds on the point of law. And that just shows that we have a robust judiciary in Ghana, and that our judiciary are fiercely independent. The duty of the prosecutors and the state is to find infractions and prosecute it. You're successfully prosecuted, but here the appellate court is saying that, they didn't do their job. They did do their job, but they find that on points of law, it was not a conclusive case. So, it is what it is, basically. But what it shows is that we have a robust judiciary in the country. Look, I think the ruling on the OSP case for me is victory for common sense, is victory for the Constitution, and is victory for our democracy. Like the Leonard Man has said, public justice in this country is clothed in one person, and that is, the AG. We cannot have a situation where you have an entity within the country that is a law unto itself. We cannot have a rogue state within a state. And so, for me, what this does is that it puts matters into their proper perspectives. As our brother said, the AG is the only man whose mandate is crafted and specifically spelled out in the Constitution. And I speak to this as a layman in terms of the law. And so therefore, I think that what it does is that it brings the OSP and the control that it should have, and therefore put matters in their proper perspective. Therefore, from my point of view, what this would stop would be non-selective justice, where it will also stop personal vendettas. I mean, if you look at the appointment of the first OSP, you look at it, of course, he was Martin Amidu, the venerable Martin Amidu, and you will clearly see that was there an agenda there by the NPP to get to some particular individuals. The jury is out on that. I think what it will also stop, in my view, will be political witch hunt, basically. So I think it's a ruling for common sense. It's a ruling for human rights, and I think that it is the best way to go. But I think that the jury is still out there on the role of the special prosecutor. There are pluses and minuses. On the plus side, we do know that the OSP has allowed us to be able to recoup up to about $5.4 billion from the SML deal. It was the special prosecutor who brought that to the fore. So we in the NDC have never said that we didn't want the role of the OSP, but we simply said that matters had to be put into their proper perspective. We also know that in the case of TOR and I think Transeco, I've forgotten the name of that particular entity, where TOR was meant to be given as a lease to a particular company that was even non-existent on the corporate world for 6 years. We know that the OSP brought this to the fore. We know that in the case of the $40 million scam in terms of fake currency, it was the OSP that discovered that. But we also know that in the case of the OSP, big fishes have been let off the hook. We know in the case of the Cecilia Past case, I think that there are still people who have questions as to whether this was investigated to the fullest extent of the law. We also know that they are competing.
Are you talking about the Torenko?
Torenko is what I was looking for. Thank you very much. Yes. So in that particular deal, that was probably going to fleece the state of up to about $300 million. You know, we were told TOR was dead, but we know that within 1.5 years of the NDC's, NDC coming to power, TOR is operating, and TOR is producing up to 45,000, barrels a day. The threshold we're looking for will be about $200 barrels a day. So a company that was meant to be, basically run down so that somebody could buy it for a song. So to that extent, there are those who think that they have done quite well. But like I said, there are those who think that the case of the Cecilia Park case was not investigated to the fullest extent of the law, and there are those who think that there are competing angles there. How does the OSP's role interact with that of Yoko or intersect with that of Yoko? How about the role of the police? How about the role of the BNI? And of course the AG himself. So for me, it's a ruling for common sense. And I'm talking about the AG here not as a party person, but as the administrator of our justice in this country.
Okay. That's Dr. Stephen Isaka there, and then my colleague, Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, also here with me. Time is actually up for me to wrap up, but a few of your messages before I wrap up this morning. Good morning, class, or good morning, Charles. Tell my comrade I disagree with him. If it falls on your side, the judiciary is robust. Politicians are becoming more powerful than the state. Okay, you didn't add your name to it. All right. Good morning, Charles. Yes, political parties should find the... Okay, I think I read this one. But you say, are we safe in this country where an accused person jailed on good grounds afterwards has been released by the same wise judges? Joseph from Tema, Community 25, with that message. Unfortunately, that's where I draw the curtains on today's edition of the Class Morning Show. I wanted us to go into the budget itself, but time is actually not on our side this morning. So maybe we'll make it that we reschedule that to a different date. But it's a living document. So it is. So we can always go back to it and then refend all of that. So let me say special thanks going out to you, Dr. Stephen Isaka from the National Democratic Congress's Communications Bureau, Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, and then my brother as well, Amia Edu Jemfi. Now, you ready to reveal your fortune? Reveal Scratch Forward is here to change your life or go. Just dial *850*5# and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes or more. It is the exciting, regulated by the National Lottery Authority. So that's *850*5#. You choose a station to play the game. You select stake amount between 5 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose lucky card out of 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo Pin. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. And so *850*5# is the short code. Reverse scratch for win, scratch a cake and ADC car say bam. And time is up for me to check out from the studios. My name is Charles Akrofi. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. God willing, tomorrow we're going to come your way with another edition of the Class Morning Show. Stick and stay. Up next is the breakfast. That's our news at 10 with Norinda Iradra Crunchy. Bye bye.